We're starting. Matt
All right.
Place.
Howdy.
Nice to
How's it
see
going,
you.
Brian?
It's good. It's the world has changed.
Yeah.
You no longer sit next to me.
Yeah, we sat next to each other for more
Yeah.
than 5 years,
It was a long time.
and then
But
we thought we needed a 20-year break. And that break is over.
yeah. I mean, you're welcome into my office. Like, I'll move some things. Uh, I suddenly want to play a best of 19 match of
Right.
Magic the Gathering right
Yeah.
now. I
played-
still shuffle. I still shuffle when I like talk and think.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
if that I did that then, but
That's a vivid memory as you shuffling and talking. So for a long time, and I guess this is going to be true for the rest of my life, I played the most Magic with you, and that's
Yeah.
not beatable.
It's
Right?
over. Like, yeah,
I don't-
we'll never play that much again. Like,
Right.
we got
And we'll play
maximum
one
joy
person.
out of that.
Yeah. Let alone one person.
Yeah.
Right? Playing that much, right? Yeah. I still play a decent amount of Magic. I still love Magic.
Oh, that's good.
Still play StarCraft. So I haven't
Oh,
changed at all.
that's
Still play
awesome.
basketball.
I do think that like you find what you like and you kind of stick with it. It's
Yeah.
interesting watching people in Silicon Valley. They are always learning new things, but like, did they just not learn the right things in the first place?
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right. Found Magic at
like,
19. It's like,
don't
don't
just
need
play
any
Magic.
hobbies. It's the best game ever. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, go.
Oh, I don't even know what I was going to say.
This is what it was like talking back then too. But I was going to say I have had no nightmares about playing you since. Like if you were like, okay, Brian and Matt, you're going to play Sealed Deck, I would feel like, all right, that'll be fun. I'll probably learn a few things.
So funny you mentioned Sealed Deck.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I believe that maybe we knew each other before this, but I believe that is when we first met. Maybe. Origins.
Yeah.
95 or 96.
It's like 95 or
Okay.
It's gotta be 95.
Probably 95. And your brother, Justin, challenges me to $100 Sealed Deck ante.
Yeah, he doesn't know who you are. He's just like
right, just approaches me.
He's a very aggressive person, yeah.
Who's that dopey redheaded guy? And then I hang out with you and both your brothers, maybe?
Yeah, I have two
was
of
it
these.
just Justin?
Yeah.
And then your dad.
Yeah.
And then that same weekend, I think your dad and I play more than 0 chess games.
Yeah.
Is my memory. But this is a long time ago. This is approaching, 31 years, I guess now. I'm trying to remember. That's crazy, dude. How's that real?
It is.
I don't like saying that. That is so crazy.
It does sound weird. I think you had been successful before that match with Justin. I don't think he knew who you were, right? But he was just like challenging anybody. You were playing anti-match.
Yeah, so it must have been 95.
Yeah.
So I had just won regionals. I had won some California tournaments, and of course, where I grew up, Missouri. But I wasn't in a magazine yet or anything like that, right? So we just none of us know each other back then. Although I knew people who knew you guys, right? I forget his name, Mike Long's tall friend who...
Derek Rank?
Well, also Derek Rank. And then the other...
Yeah.
And then there's like 3 or 4 dudes that hung out in that group. I like Derek. Haven't seen him since maybe 96.
I would love to talk to Derek again.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, he had technology for turbo stasis long before other people. Yeah. Red Elemental Blast. Yeah, he knew some stuff. Yeah, he had 4 balance. So I believe he's who I'd faced in the finals of... I'm ready to talk about Magic, dude. This is 24 hours.
Go a long time.
He had 4 balances, and balance is very busted, but so is Channel Fireball, was based on the stories of that regional. So yeah.
Derek was actually like an incredibly good player. He taught me things like starting out. Like I feel like you had some sense of how games worked and how to play them, but I was like raw clay. And so like I play against Derek and he's like, I can tell you don't have a counterspell because of the way you're leaning. He was that kind of gamer, right?
I love it.
And so like he taught me all these things just by beating me with all these tricks and then telling me after. So he was someone who was in the book with that anecdote. And then I showed the book to Worth Wolpert. And this happened like 3 or 4 times where I was like, wait, there are anecdotes I forgot. I talked to my brother Jeremy. He's like, I was a Monopoly world champion. And I was like, shit, I got to put that in the book. That's the first time I've sworn.
That's amazing.
Ninth call. Yeah, no. At one of the Origins, he won the Monopoly championship.
I love it.
But the Derek Rank story got bumped because I wanted to get a Worth Wolpert story, and it felt like the Derek story was in the wrong place. But Derek had earned a story in my heart.
Nice.
Anyway, so that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know who the tall people were, but I know who you were, and I remember you.
Yeah, I'm forgetting his name. But yeah, Derek took me around, I think, Philly. We hung out some back in the day. Yeah. Long time ago.
Yeah.
Cheesesteaks. Yeah, I have links to stories on everything as we talk. Like there's like 5 stories you could tell, right? It's just crazy.
I don't mind going into all of it. This is like the era of Magic where, like, I think I don't know if I put it out yet, but there's the stories about the kinds of things you would even do back then. Like, I think Nationals was going on. I think that was the Nationals where David Price and another guy, Scott Smith from Cornell, were sleeping on our hotel room floor. And so we were all playing in some kind of grinder. And I played in a Grand Melee there and won a beta pack that had
fun.
Nothing in it. It had no rare. It was an island. But then, yeah, you show up and you and Justin were a really great match. But what are your 5 stories? Like, what's the radial? Like, imagine you're in The Sims right now. Yeah, go ahead.
Right.
What's
one
on the
leads to the
radial?
other. I'll finish none of them and just start the next story. Well, so yeah, so first of all, I don't know, just the history of Magic, right? It's so cool that like this game that matters, right? Like something got onto our radar, and I think I'm just a few years older than you, right? But like that was about the time, right, when I met you and your brother and your dad, is when I was like, okay, this is for real, right? Fast forward another 5 months, we're going to see the poster that says they're giving away $1 million.
Yeah,
Pro Tour. And I remember just staring at that poster being like, it can't mean $1 million. What do they mean? What does this mean? This can't be real. That much money, right? Because winning $100 at a Magic tournament just felt like amazing back in the day, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, in this Wild West, right? I think it was Finkel, says to me, because we didn't know the East Coast people in the beginning. We didn't know the West Coast people, right? And Finkel's like, hey, how are you so good? You grew up in Missouri, right? It's just like, what a great compliment, right? But yeah, so many people, they're just like giant characters, right? Justice, right? Chalice, and just, these people that we put on pedestals back then too, because they were in these magazines, these, full bios on them, Brian Weissman, right?
ECL,
the first one that was
whoever
in that category. Chip, what'd you say?
Oh, Chip Hogan, yeah.
Yeah.
He was a big deal.
Yeah, he was a big deal because he got, and I don't think anybody's heard of him, right? Some of these other players, obviously, people know still.
He got flown into events. Like people like New York flew him in to play in events, I think.
Yeah, they wanted to promote him. And I remember him being in Iowa, and I think you and I hung it out in an Iowa tournament, maybe too. And you were telling me about Ashton Gould. Show me your Ashton Gould.
Oh, yeah. That was North Carolina. Yeah. We have been around.
Oh, it was North Carolina.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay, yeah.
Your brother and I played.
Have a lot of false facts in them too. Just
I mean, don't get old. But continue.
Yeah. But yeah, just meeting these larger than life people. Who's PT1 winner? Lecanto, right? I remember him, forming like this party train through the lobby of the hotel the night before he's going to win the PT, or 2 nights before, yelling at us that we all suck, right? It's like, what is going on? This world is crazy. But yeah, Chip, he's like, oh man, I won the tournament there, right, in Iowa City, and got like $500. And he's like, hey man, I'll put up this, $50 card against your 500 if you want to play. Me just being, it's just like, okay, what kind of person are you, right? He wants the 10-1, like why? Okay, crazy. But yeah, and then the people that we started with here in Kansas City that had people flying out here. I don't know. It's just such cool that like to go from high school to this like global, we're making friends with the littlest Viking, Uller Hade, and like, from Sweden, just so cool, like how the world kind of exploded in those couple of years. It was crazy, man.
Yeah. Very cool. Like, it's funny. Ben Sek and I talked last week, and he was talking about how the internet really like kind of fanned the flames of Magic, but it did allow us to connect in ways that like you couldn't connect at all prior to that window of time, right? That was really neat. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's also neat that like Magic started right before that, right? There was FidoNet and Usenet and other nets.
Like CompuServe or like the one before that.
Right. Yeah. Prodigy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
they came on CDs and stuff.
and Bethmo, right? These original rules managers slash just knowledge people, right? Posting there. But only 1 in 100 people knew about this back then, right? Fast forward now, how many people know about the internet for Magic Deck, right? But back then it was very rare. So it was more the Wild West, right? And it's like, oh, you're using Mana Drain. What an interesting choice, right? Back then it was like, oh, I see you're running, Ancestor Recall in your blue deck, right? It was just crazy how just the knowledge didn't, transmit back then. So running 4 balances, right? Deck rank.
That sounds really fun. That sounds really fun for everyone.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And he had all the pieces, right? Library of Lang, just all the things that make it so that you actually get, those huge advantages. I don't know if you remember Eric Atwood, check it. He was the first to have 4 balanced good deck here in Kansas City. Yeah. And so we started to learn about, making those advancements. But yeah, dude, it's crazy. And then fast forward 10-ish years, I start working at Wizards with you.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting, right? Like to look back then, what we understood about making Magic good, and now what the people who work there know. It's, it shouldn't be embarrassing. It's a little bit embarrassing that they're, they know so much more than us. But kind of like those early days of Magic, why are you running the deck you're running? Why are you playing the way that you're playing? We couldn't articulate it as well as they can now, right? We didn't have, Luis telling us the pick orders for draft, not even close, right? Like
there was no data at that point.
Oh yeah,
right?
just no data. What do you do? This is the, literally the first time you've ever seen this set, and you're playing a sealed deck, right? In Atlanta, right? So you had to play off your gut. That kind of describes what we were doing at Wizards, right? Obviously, very intelligent people. Like, I wasn't a math PhD, but obviously we're surrounded by all these, math PhDs.
You are now, right?
There we go. Yeah. But it's so interesting to me. We were kind of designing and developing off of our gut. We knew we'd seen some things go wrong, right? Because we weren't there for the first 5 years. It's weird that it feels like when we started, by the way, actually you started before me, that it feels so deep into it. It's not at all, right? We were there.
No, we're still at the beginning.
Yeah. And when I, talk to the folks at Wizards now, they're like, oh yeah, you're part of the old school. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm the new school, dude. I'm the new school still.
I talked to Rosewater, on, like, we did a podcast a couple years ago, and then I saw him last year, and he was like, when were you here again? And it was like 1998. Like it wasn't that long ago, but yeah.
But you started.
Time is weird.
2001 or 2.
I started 2000. Elaine Chase and I started on Halloween on 2000. Yeah.
Okay. Elaine Chase.
And so, that was a fun time. It was Pokemon was booming, and the company had grown to like 700. Hasbro had just acquired Wizards. And then you just show up a year or 2 later, but the way time works, like that first year, you're working so hard, like it feels like 10 years. So by the time you get there, it's our impression of time.
I'm way later, yeah.
But you're only a year later than me, I think. You had won a Pro Tour. You won Rome? Did you win Rome, or was that Steve? Mainz. Okay. I was thinking it was Steve. Well, it depends on which one I'm talking about, or is there just one?
Well, I'm thinking of the Tolarian Academy Rome, right?
Oh, yeah. I was thinking of a different tournament. But yeah, you and Steve-O played in the final of something, I thought.
Yeah, we played in the finals at Mainz. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you won that.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, Steve-O Mahoney Schwartz.
Yeah. That Pro Tour was one of the worst draft formats you can have. This is a great example of just, everybody at Wizards not understanding game design and fun yet. And obviously they've made amazing stuff. Magic was still the best game ever, so you can't discredit people. But face up draft, Rochester draft, is a terrible idea, right?
Yeah.
Steve Mauschwitz laying into people like, why are you taking that? Because you should be doing this. And it's like, well, because I'm an idiot. Okay, now let me take my card. Right?
Let me be wrong. Just let me be wrong.
Right. Just let me play. Right. And we all, once again, didn't know pick orders, right? Legacy Lure, which was a kind of a 2-mana control Magic. Is that a good card? Yes. Right. 8th pick, right? Going at that tournament, right? Living Death. I think I got 3rd pick in the top 8. One of the most dominant limited cards. Look it up if people don't know it, right? Like, just totally insane.
Did it come with like $15,000 on it when you drafted it, right?
Well, so I was super excited about it, but then I realized, if you remember Chris Bishop, I'm drafting red black. He's drafting COP red, COP black. And it's just, as I'm watching him take those, right? It's all face up. So you see this, and he's across the table. So he's my top 8 round 1 opponent. and just this feeling of like, this is how I go out. He's all in, right? It's just a game, almost, chicken or whatever, right? Like he's just gonna COP me and I'm gonna lose. But I had some good tech. Yeah, one island and one whatever the buyback sleight of mind was.
Sleight of mind, yeah.
Whatever the buyback one was called. So I can't lose now because I will eventually draw those 2 cards, and he has to spend all his mana. Yada yada. So, yeah, good stuff. But yeah, love those Wild West days. Love the Wild West of playing Magic. Love the Wild West of trying to figure out how to design Magic.
Yeah.
Right, it's like I was saying, they're so good at it now. Right, the sets are just packed with good stuff, and they know how to make limited. Right, Humphreys and that crew. But we were kind of designing off of our gut. Right, we kind of knew what had gone wrong in the past, and we didn't want to repeat those problems.
Yep.
But in hindsight, it is, I don't know, it's interesting to me if we could go back in time, how much more we might know now.
Oh, for sure. We would.
And it
do
was just
better.
this, like, I don't know, impossible puzzle box. Like, what makes a good set? Why do people love, X, Y, and Z? And why did we make Ravnica but also made Champions? How does the same exact team do both of those, right?
I know. It was the same exact people on the development
Yeah.
side, right? Yeah, the design side was different though, right?
Sure.
And I think the processes for making sets had to change quite a bit after we left because what we did was this evolution where Urza Saga came out. It was not balanced at all. And then Masks comes out and it's like balanced really poorly. And so we come in and we're trying to figure out, how do you like do creative and make it play well? In general, like the balance was pretty good for the most part while we were there. But like we stopped pushing the design to the line, which is like what they do today, which just makes it more fun for everybody, right?
Yep.
And so we
totally.
This is just how humans work. This is like where like if AI systems end up winning in the long run, they'll be able to figure out how to calibrate to the right like degree. Like humans have never proven they can.
Right. That maybe we could describe the new R&D folks that way. They're
AI.
calibrating AI folks who, while we operated off of gut. Yeah.
I always thought Humphreys is kind of no. I'm just kidding.
But Humphreys, I think, just has good instincts and has more data than us, right? But maybe he's just better at it.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah. And I remember playing with him back in 94, 95 at Neutral Ground in New York. Beat me with Maze of Ith. But yeah, so interesting. So I remember Randy saying, well, we gotta, if we're not banning cards, remember this, if we're not banning a few cards every year or two, we're not pushing it enough. So I think his instincts were totally right? How do you push it? But the pushing is not, let's make an Ancestral Recall, let's make a Black Lotus, right? How do you push it in a way that's exciting, right? What's the difference between the cards that are pushy, but also make everybody go, oh my gosh, I can't wait. Oh, I'm going to do this with it, versus, okay, that's raw rate and that's going to be insane.
Yeah.
And my little cousin getting excited about it? No, but I know it's totally insane raw rate, right? Which I think you could argue Affinity is more in that space, right? I think a lot of people like Affinity, but just understanding how to push the right way, I think was one of our weaknesses. But if you're kind of give us props for things, I think one of the biggest ones is creatures are good. Like, does that matter in hindsight? Yes, nothing matters more. And like, honestly, that's something that we did, right? You started doing it before I got there, but that is huge for Magic, right? And there were such terrible philosophies by very intelligent people that I respect on creatures aren't good and here's why. Anything that costs more than 4, don't worry about it. Just things that aren't true, just weren't true back then and shouldn't have been true back then, right? And kind of course correcting on that, right? Making creatures that are fun, exciting, etc. I think one of the things we learned we talked about more than a few times, right? I'm forgetting its name. What's the black-green 5-mana 6/6 regenerating vampire?
Oh yeah, I remember what you're talking about. I could tell you the name, but it probably had a name.
It probably did. But what a great example of like, okay, this is not ancestral. This is not like, well, I can't win. They have 4 of those in their deck, right? I still have, and summon still affects it, right? Control magic, whatever, tapping it still works. But it got people excited. It pushed the limits on creatures. There's only a few examples of those, in the previous years before we got there, right?
Yeah.
Juzan being the biggest one probably, right? Along with Staring Angel in the early days, right? But yeah, I think that's something we should give ourselves props for is, there's thousands of creatures now that are super exciting. And there's a dog walking by.
No, it's all right.
But anyways, yeah. But I don't know. I find it very interesting. Like, what did we know? How what do we get wrong? What do we make mistakes on? In hindsight, what kind of seems easy to do that we just didn't have the data to be able to do, right? And
I think,
to be fair to
yeah,
us,
yes.
it's extremely hard to figure stuff out when you don't have, right? Thousands of people already thought about this problem and you can go read something, right? And that's
Oh, for
so
sure.
fun
Yeah.
to me too, right? That's Wild West. That's, okay, page one, what are we going to write, right? And we're kind of in that space because, yes, there was Alpha, which is a masterpiece, right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable that set's that good, right? What is going on there? But then look at the next 5 sets, and designing Magic sets was not even close to figured out, right?
Yeah.
Homelands
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
hilarious, but it's not that much worse than some of the surrounding sets, right? Um, and then Ravnica, I think, is Mirage, Ravnica is. It's interesting to look at the sets that are like so much better than their predecessors, and the surrounding, the sets that would come a year later too, right?
Yeah, for
Ravnica,
sure.
Mirage. Uh, what went right there? How did those advancements get made? Right? Yeah, it's cool. It's fun.
Yeah, it is pretty fun. I feel like, yeah, I mean, so much of it is people, especially before data shows up. I think, I think that there was a lot of benefit from having the right mix. It's almost like you're, in Logic Pro or a doll, and you're like, how do I tune the right voices to the right level? I found like a certain persona to be like especially valuable, like this kind of impish, like benevolent, ask questions and challenge authority types like Phil Rose and I think Aaron Forsyth were those people in our time
Yes.
that just really
Yeah.
like knew how to ask the right question in the right way. And in general, like those are the people that I found emulating afterwards, just trying to be a positive instigator for change instead of it's easy to get comfortable or want to be comfortable and you shouldn't, right?
Yeah.
I think champions, when you're in masks or champions territory and you're making a set after, things kind of went off the rails, you're like very scared to push it, but you still need to.
Right. And yeah, and Champions is, right? It's okay,
It's
Affinity and
scared.
Artifact
It's scared.
lands are out there. What do we do? How do we not make that mistake?
Mhm.
And we should have been less scared.
Yeah.
Right? We needed to be smart and not fearful, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. Bill Rose and Forsyth, I think, have really good instincts on this stuff, right?
Mhm.
One of the ways I kind of imagine is like when you're making a set. So Rosewater is both. Rosewater has great instincts, but he's also willing to make future sight, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
my joke,
Yeah.
which maybe I said to you a few times, which me, you, and Worth were all working on that set together. Is that true? I'm trying to remember what
Uh,
the team was.
I was
No,
on it. I think Turian was the leader. Might have been
Turing.
Worth. Yeah. It's so long ago.
I definitely remember Worth and I talking about it. Maybe we just went to lunch and talked about it. But anyways, the
Could have
joke
been.
is kind of like, but Mark, this is kind of a terrible design. And, no, but,
I didn't.
no, we're going to do it. Just imagine it was okay. How would you combine 2 keywords? Right. Well, I don't know. This is like, I don't know, and kind of questioning. It's like, yeah, but pretend it was okay. Let's just move forward. What would we do if we were doing it? Okay, let me think that way, which is obviously not a good way to think, right? You need to, pull the emergency brake when it's that bad. I think that set's just awful. Obviously, that turn
I,
play that helped
I
it.
never, I never saw it. I
Yeah.
left during
Oh, okay.
while it was being made. Yeah, and I never got my free box. Someone
Okay.
like owes me a free box
Yeah.
for working on it. But yeah, I know Tarmogoyf got like powered up after I left, but it was a really it was a hard block. Like Cold Snap shows up. I think we start doing Glee Max. Every time we start like stacking risk and like scope of like focus, like it ends up being a nightmare. So, and I think that happens still, right? The Spider-Man set comes out and everyone's like, this isn't good enough.
Yeah.
And it seems like it has happened a couple times where they're like, let's just take the money. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
that's actually going to hurt you, right?
Yeah.
Did you
Spider-Man
work
I
on
had
Colts?
a
Yeah,
lot
go
less
ahead.
fun with. Yeah. It's just not as well designed. That said, it's still really good relative to bad sets in Magic, right?
What's
They
your
know what they're
least
doing.
favorite
The
set?
bar is higher, right? Is a lot of the story too. Yeah.
What's your favorite epoch of Magic? Like, what's your favorite window?
As a player,
Yeah, I think it has to be as a player.
So this is embarrassing for me. It's right after I left the sets that got worked on. Original Innistrad is the
Oh, I heard
most
that was
fun
really
I've
good.
ever had playing limited. Maybe I had a different kind of amazing fun when limited was brand new, right? We played some wacky formats of limited. Remember the oh, Solomon draft? Wow, what a terrible format also. But yeah, but Innistrad is a masterpiece. How does it hold up to today? I haven't drafted it in the last 10 years or whatever, but man, yeah, so fun, right? The right way to do, I think, graveyard and flashback and planning your draft deck as you go. Do I have this piece and that piece, right? It was perfect for me. Flip cards, something that I would have been adamantly against and in hindsight wrong on, right? I mean, part of it is in my day, nobody's using sleeves. What do you mean flip? Like, how can you possibly have a two-sided card? Doesn't make any sense. But those played pretty well, right? And the set as a whole was just a total masterpiece. So I think that's my favorite time as a player, just the raw playing of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I got to go back and experience anything, it's once again what we were talking about at the beginning, right? It's
Oh, for sure.
you've got $83 in your pocket. That's what your net worth is. And you're playing for $1,000 right now. Like, that is fun. I love that. That was so fun, dude. Like, just, yeah, mind blowing. Awesome. Meeting people that are, on MTV commercials, right? I guess that's a minor, but you know what I mean? Yeah, it was just very cool. Such a fun time.
Were you ever on those commercials? Like you were?
No. What was I in? I was in Kansas City, did some stuff for me here locally. I was in Inquest. I think I was on the cover of Cyborg maybe or something. And then I was inside a Duelist after I won the tournament. Maybe, I don't remember. Maybe the Duelist didn't even exist back then. But yeah, a few of those. Yeah. Nothing like it is today where you're, how many
You don't have
followers
a
does
stream.
LSD have?
Yeah,
What?
yeah. Where's your stream? Like, you could be playing with Brian Kibler on TV at various points. Have you done streaming your creator, or are you usually like off internet? Like
A little bit, mostly for my other games, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know if you got to play those. I'm actually very curious. Did you ever play Storybook Brawl?
No, but I saw Jay Schneider playing it, and
Okay.
he was like a huge fan. I
Okay.
was interested to play it, so like you had piqued my interest.
Okay, good. Almost got there. We'll have a new one.
No. Oh, what are you making?
Once Upon a Galaxy.
Okay.
It's good, man. Yeah, it's really fun. It's made for mobile. Essentially trying to do what Snap has already done, right? Kind of the way I describe it is, what's TCG fun is a thing, right? You do not have that in, Civ or, StarCraft, right? There's something to TCG fun, right? Combo synergies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Planning, turn-based feel, right? Do I want to do this or I want to do that, right? Which you just can't do in a lot of my other favorite games. Can you do that on a phone? And you could play Arena on a phone. You could play Hearthstone on a phone, which I've enjoyed, right? I have fun with that, right? But they're not made for that. And like, I'll make the mistake of, a new Magic set came out. Let me load it up on my phone. And then I quit midway through the draft where I'm like, how do I it feels like I have 2 seconds per pick. I got to read all these cards. Why have I done this again? Wasted my, $10.
I find it impossible. Like, I could play Balatro on a phone. I found that like trying to play Hearthstone or Magic on a phone, like I wanted these dopamine hits that like it can't fulfill because it's too slow.
Yeah.
And so to fulfill that kind of like hit, I needed to play on a computer.
Right.
To be able to distract myself sufficiently.
Right. Because, the moment you get into some sort of deflection type of effect, and there's 3 things on the stack, it's not showing you which one is targeting which. And you're like, I think it's this one, but I'm not 100% sure. If I was on PC, I would be 100% sure. Right? It's just, I don't want to play. You know what I mean? It's just, this is annoying. And my finger's also not clicking the right one. And I think, so how do you get TCG fun on a phone in a way that's like legit, right? And I think Ben Brode, so my old boss, by the way, if you're a list people who have I think those amazing instincts that I don't have maybe, but those amazing instincts for TCG making, right? It's, I got to meet more people. I'm sure you did too, after my time at Wizards, right? Forsyth, then we were talking about Forsyth and Rose. Ben Brode and Eric Dodds are also a couple people that, have those instincts where you're like, oh, okay, they know some stuff, right? I'm listening to them and I, just have this level of trust. So I think Snap did that for a lot of people, right? It's a little small to read the regions. I don't know how much Snap you played. Did you play it at all?
I just tried it out. It was a lot like Star Wars without dice, which I liked.
Okay.
You probably didn't work on the Star Wars.
No, it was still, Henry was like playing 100% of it when I got to Wizards, the dice rolling Star Wars. Yeah. But it had three locations. Is that why it's similar?
Yeah, it had 3 locations, so a lot of the mechanics are similar, but like it's much better because there's no dice. So for me, I was like, oh, I understand 88% of this like immediately, and it's like very familiar. So I liked it. But I tend to like check out a game to study it and then move on. Like, if I play Balatro too much, which I've already talked about, but like I just like I have a family. I have bills to pay, Matt.
Yep.
Like there's so many games you want to follow, like buy the Kickstarter and stuff, and like I am no longer of the age where I can get to it. Can you cover it all? Like, how much gaming do you do? Yeah, right. I mean,
well, I mean, I still play a decent amount of games, but I don't play a wide variety. But I pretend this might be kind of, I pretend like I can, right? I buy stuff, I Kickstarter something, I download games on Steam, and then, play 0 to 1 hour of them. And
yeah,
nothing against the game. I just, if I've got an hour, I want to play Magic maybe as part of it, right? Yeah. But the reason I brought up Snap is like, I think they did probably the best job ever of bringing TCG fun, which all of us that love TCGs can kind of, describe in different ways, right? To the phone in an actual real way, right? Which Arena and Hearthstone, I don't think, yeah. And so that's inspiring and part of what we're trying to do with Once Upon a Galaxy. And I think we did it, right? I think the game's super fun and super free. Yeah, we're trying to thread a few needles. Yeah.
Let me see. I haven't done this yet.
Art's good.
App Store. Once
you download it. Yeah, I love it.
I mean, why wait? I'm a pretty big fan of no waiting, which is a Turian thing. Once Upon a Galaxy is the number one thing that comes up that warms my heart. How many of these games have you made, Matt Place? Like, what are you doing with your life? You're making tons of fun games.
I can list them. Things I got to be a part of after I left Wizards. So the biggest one that I was a part of, in quotes, let's say, right, was Path of Exile. I don't know if you probably don't play games like that. I don't remember you being interested in Diablo.
I did study it at some point. Okay. So like I'm like
there's lots to study there. Yeah, it's super interesting the things they did.
A very deep game, right?
Yeah. So it's funny too, the kind of the stories with a lot of these, right? So I've known Chris Wilson, who was the original CEO. He retired, whatever that was, 2 years ago. Has some funny stories from him too, dude, that are pretty meaningful to Magic. But known him since he was like 13. But why?
Holy cow.
Like just all these people that we, oh, that person on TV. Oh, I remember I used to play Magic with it. It's just weird. Like, isn't the world 8 billion people? Why did I know Chris? But anyways, I know why. It's because of Magic. But yeah, he has another person with like incredible instincts. But yeah, that game is so cool in that it's like, hey, let's go complete with Blizzard. We've got 1/100th the budget, if that. Let's see if we can compete with Blizzard, right? So I put my life savings into this game, dude. Dice rolling, right? Taking risks, and did a minor amount of design work. But it's so cool, just like, as you level up and you get better, just the quicker you can like have useful things to say about other genres. And Chris was, talking a lot about, and you can kind of see this in the game as it's been executed over the whatever it's been now, right? It was 20 years ago that he started working on it. But like having block formats, right? Having different experiences over time, like Magic does. What does that mean to an action RPG? Which is so cool. And then mixing and matching, right? Oh, this cool mechanic that we've taken a break from, or bringing it back and mixing with this other thing. Kind of like when I do deck building, I'm mixing 2 different cards, right? How cool that is, right? And just all those smart things they've done to take on Blizzard. And then my time at Blizzard, I remember HR, hey, Chris, right? Can you ask him if he wants to come out here? And I'm like, I don't think, he's rich. You can't bring him out here, right? But yeah, so got to do part of Path of Exile, World of Warcraft TCG, got to lead a set or 2. Hearthstone, got to lead some sets. Runeterra's predecessor, Bacon. I don't know if you know about Bacon.
Dude, I do not. I am. What is Bacon?
Oh my
God! Sounds like a Magic set we made. We made Bacon.
Did you get into League at all?
No, I went like very far from everything that you have said.
Okay.
There you go.
Anyway, lots of games. Yeah. Predecessor Runeterra, which there was some stuff in Runeterra that was from that, right? We, didn't necessarily know what we were doing, made a lot of mistakes, but also proud of some of the fun that we had in there. And then Eternal, which had good goals.
I heard about that. I heard about that.
Yeah.
I heard it was good.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was head of design for that. And I created that with my friends. And then been working with that group ever since, right? Off and on different levels, but the kind of Magic the Gathering crew, the Louis Scott Vargas, Chapin, Matt Nass, Josh Hooter Layton. We've done a few things together now. And yeah.
Very cool. You've done a
What
lot
else?
of
A few
things.
other things. Yeah.
I kind of like how like you're like, I still do the things that I did 30 years ago that I liked or
I'm
20.
very much that. Yeah.
I'm like, that's like, all right. Like I'll know who you are the next time we do this. Like I'll have a pretty good idea of what you're into and what you're doing. Like we will still be evolving, but like you'll be coherent, which is nice.
Yeah, the thing to add is family, right? But I'm still basketball and gaming is basically
your leisure.
Yeah.
What games do you play with your kid? Like how do you deal with technology and how do you game with that? Like as a dad trying to like curate the mind, right?
Yeah, so we do some Pokemon. So I never got into Pokemon. I'm a little judgmental on Pokemon, right? We at one of the companies I was at, we were doing the digital product for it, right? The iPad/PC version. I respect Pokemon, but it's not something that I've ever felt like I would play another game of Pokemon, right? But when it comes to my kids, I do want to do that, right? Just because I want to have that TCG experience with them. But they're much more into collecting. So we do that. We actually play Once Upon a Galaxy together. You can play with your family. Easy.
Yeah.
It's a good family game. Everybody's got a phone, pull it out and play it. Basketball. Yeah. Homework.
Do you let them win? Like that's a thing. I don't let my kids win on purpose.
Yeah,
is that wrong? Is that look at that. Look at that.
I try to make sure it's challenging and that but not overly so, right? And like so in basketball, I'm, whatever, foot and a half taller than them.
I would let them win basketball.
Our oldest is 15, our youngest is 8. But the younger ones are the ones who will play basketball with me. And so we do some, 3-on-1 and have fun. And but yeah, when it comes to gaming, I try to make sure I don't undo the like, hey, I can teach you some stuff, right? By being terrible and, not trying to win. But I also don't want to dominate, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Make it unfun. Yeah.
It's a balance. Like if you don't need to beat them. It's not like there's a need. But if you don't show them what a good decision looks like, you're wasting their time and your time. So it's like I've never beaten them at Magic, for example. Like they always like if we play like as me DMing the game, they just always win.
Right.
But if I play Connect 4, like
so I have something in common with your kids, which is cool to find out. Yeah.
What is that?
No, you have DD Magic, obviously. You probably beat me more than any other human on the planet.
I feel no fear of Matt Place anymore.
Here's a stat. Who lost the most games ever in the state of Washington of Magic? I might hold that for a long time.
Really? You?
Because I played Magic Online infinitely as well while I lived in Washington.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That is a stat, but like Shaquille O'Neal has the most missed free throws. He's in the Hall of Fame. So it's like, it's just on your way to greatness that like you took these losses.
He should have done granny shots. I think it would have improved.
It's just like angering that like he was too vain to do it, right? Like you could have been
when you're that bad.
Better.
There's no embarrassment left.
What do you have to lose? You shoot at the other goal, like whatever it is that you need to do. Like Jesus.
Back over his head, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what was I going to say? So Dodds, superstar game designer. He's been referred to as the Dalai Lama of game design, which I agree with. One way he described Hearthstone I thought was super smart, which I think can relate to what you're talking about. How do you engage with kids for games, right? Especially when we have sometimes just too much knowledge and experience, right, to make it an even playing field. He talked about Hearthstone, which doesn't have instants or interrupts or declare blockers, right? So I'm taking my turn by myself, right, as you are. And he said you're solving a puzzle each turn. Okay, they got a 5/5. Do I need to kill it? Yes, I do. How do I kill it? And then when your turn's over, you've set up a puzzle for your opponent. And each turn you can win. I killed his 5/5, and now I have my 4/3 that has a really cool ability that if he doesn't kill is going to be great for me. So you've got a victory, even though I might ultimately go on to lose. I had a victory that turn because I I had short-term goals that I achieved. Obviously, when you're trying to win a pro tour, there's nothing but how do I win this best 2 out of 3? Nothing. If you started bringing up other, yeah, but I thought you did a really good job of tapping your lands. Everybody look at you like, what are you? This is a joke. Like, what are you talking about? There is one victory condition, period, right? But I thought that was so smart because tons of people don't play that way, right? Want those little victories, right? And you and I have had this too, right? Where we beat somebody and they go, yeah, but I did get you down to 3. It's like, yeah, you did. True. Right.
Yeah.
Matters zero.
I give you kudos. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. Good job. But I thought that was really smart. And that is something that I try to do with the kids, right? Is, oh, smart. Okay. You swapped your Pokemon because of blah, blah, blah. Right. And just, make each moment something rather than did you win or did you lose? That is all that matters. Right. Yeah. Isn't that smart what Dodd said, right? You're setting up a puzzle for your opponent while solving theirs. And it's a game of tennis with that. It's a cool way to look at Hearthstone.
It's a mature parenting technique as well. I was just like, I can tell how you parent from that conversation alone. Okay, excellent. I'm like gaining wisdom as we continue. All right, I have a question for you.
Yeah, ready.
Of all the shit we did, what's your favorite thing we did? Making music.
I mean, easily Ravnica. Mm-hmm. I mean, that set is so much better than things around it, dude. It is so good.
It's very good. It is very
good. And Rosewater, oh, who am I trying to think of? The flavor side was so good.
Brady,
right?
Cranford.
Oh yeah, Cranford, right? I remember the conversation with Cranford, like, hey, we should do this, and how about this? And and I'm in probably less than 1% of those conversations, right? Because back then, I don't know what it's like now. By the way, just hearing the layout of R&D now is like just alien.
It's infinite. It's infinite. Yeah.
Infinite people.
We had like 5 guys. We were 5 guys, burgers, and carbs, right? Like, it's just like ridiculous, the difference.
Well, I was saying this a different way. What was I forget how I phrased it, but like, how many people, that 2 weeks before a set shipped knew what the set was, like, intimately?
Yeah.
3?
Yeah. I mean, it was, I would like study that thing I would study that thing every night pretty much. And like,
but isn't that insane for a brand that like can make $1 billion over a few years? Like, there's 2 guys that could tell you the commons in white.
It might have been healthy is something I learned to have that much. But you were one of those guys, Matt. Yeah, I felt like development also like nailed that set in a way that was different.
Yes,
we were very comfortable after Kamigawa for all of like the thing. Like, Kamigawa has like pluses and minuses, even though like I'm not fond of it. It did set us up to do like a set that wasn't like obscenely powerful or reactive. Like, it was a landscape that you could build an entire format of like diverse strategies into. And like, for that, I'm kind of grateful. But you did a good job, Matt. I probably
like
never
to exaggerate our
nice.
mistakes too. I think it's fun to make fun of ourselves for what we did wrong.
What was your best? What was the best bad card we made? Like, there was some like link. You linked me to like deal 10 damage if someone's at 10.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what that card was called. That's a really bad card. That's like exceptionally bad.
So yeah. So bad cards kind of. So we talked a lot about bad cards, right? Actually,
we had to, right? That was the law.
Yeah, I got the five other stories web coming out here, but just real quick on bad cards, Scaff and Garfield came to Blizzard to talk about bad cards, by the way.
Oh, I want
Dodds really appreciated.
Update me, please, on this.
Yeah, so I wasn't there. So this is like, I don't know, a few months before I start working there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Might have been more than that. But they're all telling me about it, right? And they're talking about bad cards, the value of them, right? Which is totally intuitive as a player, right? My attitude was, why would you ever make a bad card? If it's not in my deck, why does it exist? Type of, essentially nonsense, right? And yeah, and it was useful to Dawes and that team, right? Kind of that philosophy of why you would make a bad card, right? This totally intuitive design direction. I do think there's too much, and we didn't quite, nail it by any means, right? We had too many of them, but there's a lot of value in bad cards, and there's a lot of value in, there's a time when it would work, but most of the time it's bad, right? I think there's immense value in a target for being a bad card. I don't know if you were there when we made Thrall. What was the name of it? This might have been right after you left. 3 mana, so 2B, right? We speak in we read left to right on what it says in the file, right? The multiverse file. 2B, 2/2 can only block if you have a vampire, right? So amazingly bad, right?
It hurts me to even hear that.
Yeah. But it's so good because it became a lightning rod, right? Did you hear, oh, dude, they have a card in the new set that's this, right? Which has some downsides when people are talking about how bad a card in the new set is, right? You don't necessarily want that to be, the face of the set or anything. Not that it was, but it's also great to have a talking point, to have drama, to have something to talk about at lunch when it's like, oh, there's a new Magic set. Check out this card and show you on my phone how bad it is. And we all laugh about it, right? That creates some value. Do you have room for one of those every, set or four? We did too many bad cards. I wish we would have done more. When the time is right, this card can shine, right?
Yeah.
Which is why I don't regret. I have no idea what the name of the card is. I don't know the name of any cards. 4-mana deal of 10, only if they're at 10. Is kind of neat, right? It's kind of we've expanded the range of things Magic cards do, right? As opposed to, I don't know, Sensei's Divining Top, I think is probably my
it's
greatest
so
regret.
Awful. I hate that.
So awful. And one of there's so many costs to it, right? The amount of time people are playing, right? I don't know.
No one enjoys the thing. It's just miserable.
My opponent just did it, and then he does it again because he wants to make sure. And I'm like, oh, please just start your turn, dude. And here's another cost, right? How much did you, me, Rosewater, etc., Randy talk about it? We could have been doing something more useful. It just took up time in our brains, right? And so I think that's my biggest regret, probably. Maybe if you name some other cards. Bridge from Below is a pretty big regret. It's hilarious.
I think
BBB.
Yeah.
If you've cast it, okay, starting a game, you messed up. Don't cast this card. It needs to be in your graveyard to do stuff. It has caveats like it gets removed. It does things while it's in your graveyard, but it gets removed. Your opponent loses a creature. So they can sacrifice a creature to stop it from working. So Mog Fanatic's a natural counter. It's just, but it's underneath 5 cards in your graveyard. It's just a horrible design. And regret that one. I more regret sets, though, I guess, than individual cards. Yeah.
What about Dredge? How do you feel about Dredge?
Well, so I'm going to give you props. Let's talk about instincts. You knew the range. Your instincts told you the range. And then fast forward, it kind of did that in the first 2 years, but fast forward 3, 7, 9 years, it did exactly what you talked about, which I think is really cool, right? Where the cards weren't there yet, maybe people didn't build it. Probably they did. I don't mind Dredge as much. I think we made bigger mistakes. I would put it kind of towards the middle, right? Who is 4 is 4, I think is a big positive, right? How bad is my experience on the other side of the table when you're doing it? I don't think we would put it in our top 10 of mistakes. In terms of I'm sitting on the table and I'm having a bad time. I think it's better than Swamp. What was it? Bayous Matter was the mechanic before that. Do you remember this? I love saying Bayous Matter. Bayous Matter. What does blue black do? Oh, it's a milling, strategy. Oh, what does green black do? It's Bayous Matter. Finally, Bayous haven't mattered yet. Were you there? Now you weren't there for Zendikar thing.
No, I wasn't there.
But you'd heard lands matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I also
that was definitely
every time Rosewater said it, I love standing up and going, finally, there's a reason to put these in your deck. Lands finally matter. That's good. And we had terrible designs in the beginning. It was not good in those first 3 weeks, but it got there, dude.
That's a good topic. So one thing that has been a constant in your career, you're going to have designs that fall short early, and you have to figure out how to reach the right peak before you release the thing. How has that improved for you over time? How you think about making a set good when the design isn't good? You have to rally a team. All those things really matter. Time Spiral we didn't like, right? I remember development meetings early where the same people who made Ravnica basically are I don't like anything here, right?
Yeah.
So how do you take Time Spiral and make it something that you're proud of now? You have all the skills now and all the wisdom.
Yeah, dude. And when I first got there, just my lack of skill is, I like making fun of it, right? I really had no design skill. I had, deck building skill. I could be useful in that way, but my instincts weren't there. My heuristics weren't there, right? And I think that is kind of what's changed over however many years it's been, 20 years. We only got two more of those left, Brian. That's sad. But we used up one of the remaining 3. But yeah, the heuristics. So yeah, what are good heuristics? How do you make sure you're asking yourself the right questions and just comparing it to things, is this like that other thing I went through? Right now I have 20 plus years of that instead of not, right? Which is huge. I think the incredibly smart original concept for Time Spiral is wonderful. Let's do a nostalgia Magic, back to Magic the Gathering, right? I forget how many sets Randy said this for. We have a lot of funny Randy stories too, but what would we say? Meat and potatoes Magic, right? Had it been meat and potatoes with nostalgia, I bet we could have made an A+.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's where I just wish common was like vanilla pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And so that's one of the torches I had to take up when you left was what are commons? What should they be? Right. And, New World Order. I don't know if you paid attention to Rosewater articles then, but there's a lot of smart stuff there. I think that we did. But yeah, I think leaning into nostalgia without being too overly literal and just have we had a better understanding of kind of when does complexity cost people in a real way and when does my side of the board is having a bad time start to pop up, creating more back and forth instead of, you know what I mean? Like one of the worst designs ever for that is Winter Orb, right? Which I've played infinitely, right? What does my future look like? Do I have hope right now? Right. And it's like, well, I ran Disenchant instead of Crumble, so I can never get rid of your Winter Orb. Okay, because it costs 2 instead of 1. Whoops. That's why all these deck lists have a 1-mana 1, right? It's just so miserable, right? I think we did too much of that in Time Spiral, right? You're ahead and gosh, and what did we even ship? That's another thing that's embarrassing. Because we had Stasis Man. What do we call it? You had a name for it. Did we ship that? There's no way we shipped that.
I don't know.
That's too unfun, right?
I remember like Spiral for constructed being like very good, but for limited being very hard to deal with because it was like too complicated for us. Like it was very like the suspend mechanic was like very wordy, and then we decided to do Cold Snap at the same time, and we're like, this is like the hardest Magic. It was like playing Magic in a blizzard. You're like, this is really hard, like. And so I wish we had made it simpler. If it's too hard for us, it's too hard for everyone else.
I think comparing the guiding light of Ravnica to the guiding light of Time Spiral is like super informative on why we didn't do as good of a job on development, right? Like just, what are we trying to do? We're trying to make red blue have a meaning here. I guess that was the third set, but still, right? And what is that meaning? And how are these going to work together? We just knew that's what you're supposed to do when you're making gold cards.
Too wide open, not enough structure, right? Yeah.
Right. And when you say, oh, well, I have another idea. I loved Stasis back in the day. What's our one-off that represents that incredibly unfun, one of the worst designs of all time? Right? Oh, but I have another nostalgia card. Where's this card? We had 4-mana Winter Orb, didn't we? We had a 4-mana body.
Oh, yeah. Maybe we did.
Yeah. Which is way better because now Shock kills it, right? That's much better design than 2-mana Artifact. But these one-offs, then how do they work together? Well, I don't know. Let's play test and see if we can get them to be more cohesive. Yeah. As opposed to Ravnica, you're like, there's a whole goal. Props to Forsyth once again, also kind of guiding some of those mechanics and being smart about it, right? He was a big part of the initial design for that whole block, right? And I think it's almost, luck is not the right word, but it's just step one was such a better launch pad for the rest of the block to be good. We still made hilarious mistakes, I'm sure, but we kind of knew what we were doing for that in a way that was going to lead us to the right end state. What is set 3 going to be in Time Spiral turn into Future Sight, right? Which just, it's not good to say, what's a cycle of multi-lands? I remember working on these with you. What's a cycle of multi-lands that are all different? We do one of each that could appear in the future. What a cool thought experiment, but how does it play, right? And that's where we started doing the interesting, right? To make fun of bad designs. Oh, that's interesting. That's thought-provoking, but incredibly unfun or confusing, right? And that's what you're talking about too with the wordiness. Some of that multi-land cycle was a good design, but we have all 5 different ones. I don't remember which one this is. It's hard to remember the blue-black one. Like, when does it produce blue and when does it produce black, right? Might have been a good design in hindsight as a cycle. But just the wrong guiding light, even though it was good stuff individually there, the cohesion wasn't there.
Yeah. It was missing the skill tree that would make it intelligible for us even, right? Like,
right.
I feel like Kamigawa had similar issues where I thought Brandon had a really good way of saying it. Like, if spirits are the interesting thing you want to highlight, make them like the exciting mechanic that you bring to life instead of like,
Totally.
hey, when a creature dies, you can get one back. That is not exciting. That is like
Right.
the least exciting. It
Oh my
is
gosh.
just like
The molasses of Kamigawa. Yeah. Hate it. Yeah. Whoops.
It's fine. You're not offending me. I thought it was like, if it was a one set thing and you played it and like it was like fine to play with in itself, but like it doesn't fit with the rest of Magic as well. And if we could go back and fix a set, everyone would fix every different aspect of it. There's like the people who did the creative, like Bozzy was like, man, I really got that wrong. And you're like, the fun of the design like wasn't there. We didn't make it powerful enough. All these things we all could have done better.
So Brady's hits are hits.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And Brady's misses are misses. Like a lot of us, right? And I think that's one of the big misses for Kamigawa is I have some I can't believe this is real. Brady followed me to tell me no dragons to new companies too, by the way. Remember when he told us no dragons for Lorway? He followed me to other companies to tell me no dragons. It's like a nightmare that was real. But his instincts were right some of the time and very wrong. I'm gonna badmouth a little bit here, even though he's made some of the best Magic flavor. Wanting to do no dragons isn't a good guiding light just because they're overdone or everybody likes them. Let's do something new. That's the opposite, right? Kind of like what you're saying. Brandon's talking about, like, what do we? Dinosaurs are cool. What's a cool way to do that? That's a great starting point, right? Wonderful.
That's where the world evolved to, right? Like when in the 90s, counterculture was very popular. And then when you get to 2005, and all of my time in Silicon Valley has been working with culture, and there is no counterculture anymore. So all of us weirdos from the 90s, like we kind of like harken back to this time when like Reality Bites was cool. And it's like not been that way for 20 years, right? You do the cool shit and you do it well, and that's what people like, and it's so much easier, right? That just wasn't like in the zeitgeist then, right? It just changed then, I feel like. But you do need to acknowledge it. You can't make like Mech Warrior like successful today as like a popular fiction, I don't think, right?
Right. What is the piece of Mech Warrior that either has nostalgia or is an inherent appeal?
Where's the dragon? Sorry,
But yeah. So we didn't do dragons in Lorwyn other than what was the name of the mountain that had the dragon sleeping inside of it? Right. We had hints to dragons.
That was cool. Yeah.
And I think there's if you have a great reason to skip on something, whatever, right? That and maybe there was more to it than what I'm understanding in hindsight, but I don't like that. Let's not do that thing that everybody likes because we are, too cool for that. And I felt that too much in both Kamigawa and Lorwyn. I do like the art in the new Lorwyn a lot. I do enjoy it more than the original. Both had good art.
I like the art, yeah.
But I didn't like that about Kamigawa. It being said, we're not doing anime. We're not doing all the stuff that Western culture loves about Japanese, media. And that's just not a good, so let's do the 100-eye,
let's do the art.
Octopus instead.
We'd already done Three Kingdoms and knew that it wasn't hit, right? So like there wasn't precedence, right? Like that was the like old style of thing trying to speak to the spirit.
As opposed to Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy has something cool too, which is, I watched Kibler's talk on this. Was he talking about Final Fantasy or something else? But anyways, it applies to Final Fantasy, which is, yes, obviously this is not Magic the Gathering, but it feels like a cousin and I'm okay with it. As opposed to Hot Dog Vendor does not. Hot Dog Vendor slaps me in the face that he's on a street corner in New York. And maybe it's a cool card and maybe it's a cool art for a different game, right? Maybe it's awesome, right, in and of itself, but it's not awesome for me as a Magic fan. While Final Fantasy and Airbender both, I'm like, okay, I'm in, right? Thumbs up. Let's try it out, right? There was a way to do that, right? Final Fantasy is obviously a specific IP, but Final Fantasy-ifying Kamigawa, totally different world. What would that have been? I bet it would have been awesome.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
Why did they hire humans to make this game? No, I'm just kidding.
For a little while longer, maybe.
Oh yeah. No, I it's funny. I was talking with Wizards about like AI a year or two ago because I was an executive at an entertainment AI company. And they were like, should we be using AI regularly to like do everything? And it's interesting. This comes up every time I talk to a game maker. It's like the sets that don't get like that only get 6 months of attention, like Cold Snap and Spider-Man, suck. And there's just this like human touch that seems to be required to make something great as like a human product. And I don't know that like the things that lead to those decisions being made are things that like LLMs are at all good at, because they're not tracking that information. They're just tracking the results. And so unless there's some sort of connection between like the heuristics we've come up with and like the feelings that we have when we're making these, having those tracked and like documented to be useful, it just seems like there's like a large bridge to cross to have AI make really deep, interesting experiences. Like there's a lot of data missing in the data set that like the AI is using, right? So
yeah, and yeah, so far it seems like AI is good for like brainstorming or bouncing ideas or whatever, right? Oh yeah, I didn't think
coding things for sure.
But like final design, coding, final design part of it, right? Like this isn't fun. I just don't think it can come close yet. Will it be there? I think it will be, but because like how many decisions do we make that maybe at the time felt like 55-45? Hey, should we do these tap lands at rare or not? Is it going to feel like a money grab? I feel like we should. We need this set to have something exciting. I think these are pretty
always
good.
have the dual lands.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, there's really good arguments for it, right? Even if it's unpopular for a lot of people. And sometimes those arguments felt like, well, there's good points on both sides and blah, 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 right? And in hindsight, it's like, it wasn't 55-45. Oh my gosh, you have to have those at rare for the set to sell like it did.
Yeah.
The popularity, right? Even if you're frustrated, it's like, well, my decks all cost an extra $200 because these are all, at the time, I think they were all like, 14 to 20, right? It's quite expensive.
Yeah.
We didn't have a ton of $20 cards back then too, right? There were very few that hit the $20 or higher, which is not true anymore, right? Both inflation, but also just sets didn't have that
scarcity, and like they had a lot more cool. Like I really do like. I like all the cool treatments. Like as someone who's not like, I don't care about playing a tournament. So for me, it's like when I see after I started this project 4 months ago, my entire Facebook feed is now Magic groups that like I've not like been interacting with before. And like so whenever you tag me, but like I just see these cool ass art cards, and I'm like, I love it. I think it's so cool. Like like rare chase cards. I think that's a really cool innovation. As a collector, I would love it. So
adding mythic in that category.
Yeah.
And but you the human kind of gut instinct was a lot of those why we went with the 55 instead of the 45, but it wasn't. I don't think it was, right? A lot of those I think were 90-10, right? 100-0. And thank goodness we made the right decision on a lot of those, right? Have we just had more time where we made a better decision, right? Like me complaining to you, I don't feel like I understood Cold Snap very well.
I hate that set.
At the time, right? I was not on the development team. I was on 2/3 development teams.
You were on Time Spiral.
Time Spiral and Future Sight, I think that year. Yeah. Maybe around that time. I don't remember exactly what it was. But and I was also initial design for what's in between Planar Chaos.
Oh, Planar Chaos, yeah.
Yeah. So it's on those 3 sets, I guess. But so I didn't really understand what's the UU blue for the enchantment that counters all your opponent's stuff for the rest of the game at top. Whatever that card's called.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, but
just one of the worst designs we should put on our top 10 regrets list during our time. But it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, this doesn't sound very professional, and I'm sure they're way better than now with their 1,000-person army in R&D instead of 6 of them. But it's one of those things where it's like you wake up one morning and one of us complains to the other again. Dude, this card just continues to be so unfun.
Not fun. Not fun at all.
Let's take it out. Let's take it out. Yeah, it's too much. Let's take it out. Well, that took us 27 more games than we had, or whatever it was, right? We just didn't get there, and so we shipped it. What is it called? It's on the tip of my tongue. But anyways, embarrassing that I know no card names. But yeah, we probably would have got there had you given us a bit more time. I also think something that really matters too, talking about heuristics, having the right chemistry for a team, and that's something that, this is huge, right? People don't know about this, dude. The whole world needs to know about what Magic R&D was like before you, right? One of the things that you taught me, Turian, Devin, all of us was, hey man, don't come in here promoting your own card because it's your own card.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Which I don't think for the three of us was really our main instinct, but it's everybody's instinct. But it wasn't like we were that. Right. But some of our predecessors were. And some of the
Oh,
incentives are hilarious. Your card gets printed, you get more money.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well
Yeah.
then what am I going to argue for in a dev meeting, right? It's insane, right? But you were very adamant about that. That was not part of the culture. I'm guessing it's laughable if that was even an issue to the people that work there now, because of course you're just trying to make the best set. We're all on the same
You
team.
should.
I don't know, right?
Yeah.
But that is so important, and that's something I like working with. The people that I've been working with over the last whatever it's been now, 7 years. No, I guess I've been working for longer than that, 10 years. Is just like we're all here to make this great. We all win when somebody goes, "This game's really good. I'm really
Yeah.
enjoying this," right? That's the victory. We all do it together. And that switch has been awesome, right? Because it was not like that when I was there. There was stronger personalities than there needed to be and not aimed in the right direction all the time, right? And that is, Magic would have been better if it had been more people that are like, yeah, not to crap on people, but that was a big problem. Yeah.
It was a big problem. It's funny because, like, in all of these conversations, like, it doesn't come out, like, explicitly, but I feel the Rashomon of, like, certain conversations where I'll talk to someone, and I know that in future conversations or even prior conversations, the feeling is different seeing the other person's perspective of things. And so, like, certainly a really interesting subculture. And like I love working on teams that are great. I actually feel like the last company I worked with, Series Entertainment, was like just a wonderful team. Like we all just clearly wanted to make great products, and
Love it.
very happy to see them like continuing to do great stuff. It's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
that's actually like the thing I look for now. Like, when I'm looking for a role, I want to work with people I like who will have like the same kind of values. I think that's really essential. And if you don't, like one thing that came up somewhat recently is like, I want to work on products like when I wrote the book, it's like a human tried to make this good. Like, whether it's good or not, like a human tried to make like a very interesting design. And uh, I feel like if you just want to put out a bunch of games fast and try to win in the market just by like not essentially leveraging those design skills, I don't really care, right? I want to connect with humans and like try to make the world of art and interaction better. And so it was interesting, right? But like, I totally understand just going out and trying to win for the sake of winning.
Right.
But it's just not what I want to do with my time on Earth at this point, right?
Yeah.
And that's why you made the best interactive mobile trading card game that ever existed.
That's pretty good.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm proud of you, Matt Place.
Oh, thank you. I love that.
I mean, we were at the beginning of our careers when we started this strange journey.
Well, I feel like, yeah. And before that, we were buddies. We didn't hang out a ton, but we liked each other before we both worked at Wizards, even though we had maybe very limited interaction.
You probably beat me at basketball. If we played Magic, you definitely. You probably beat me.
That's something that I feel very blessed. I still play basketball. I could still do it.
I can't believe it. Like, I have a hoop.
Yeah.
I shoot baskets, but like I saw Worth go down. I saw Scaff go down. I saw Henry go down.
Oh man.
Elliott tore his ACL. Like, I know what happens to old men who play basketball, but you're like the exception. You're like,
I get injured way less now because I don't jump anymore, right? I jump, but not maybe a fifth as much as I used to be able to. It sucks. But it is part of injuries, right? It's just being up in the air and somebody else slamming into you. So it's actually kind of nice. I get injured less. But yeah, I actually just had a couple weeks ago, had dinner with Scaff and Worth.
That's pretty nice.
That was fun, nostalgia. Oh my God, I haven't seen you guys in forever. I've been seeing them every once in a while, right? But, it takes years before reconnecting. But yeah, that was super fun. Yeah, Worth came down to Blizzard as I was leaving. We kind of tagged out. Yeah, on a game that is a good example of something that I wish should have been great. I don't know if you didn't play the MOBAs, you didn't play League of Legends, but Blizzard's League of Legends after they lost Dota. Yeah, whole story there. But anyways, yeah, that game should have been great. So,
Here's the Storm.
Yeah, Here's the Storm. He came down to be some sort of director or something. But which is pretty cool. But yeah, I was going to say too about the old school. Oh, yes. And, talking about enjoying who you work with and having the similar goals. So somebody who I think this is true about, I was actually saying this to Garfield, the person with the best multiplier of skillful at Magic, and nice is a guy named Sam Pardee, in my opinion. And I get to work with him all day long. It's great. Super skillful. So when he says something, you go, oh, really? And then he's just like nice, and his ego is not like, causing the issues that we had in our day on Magic, right? It's wonderful, right? I'm not saying you had that problem with your ego, but many of us did. I had it more than you, and a lot of us at Wizards did.
No, I feel like I was the wrangler. I was kind of like the guy who tried to make sense of everything with all of the most like distortedly smart people I've ever met. I think Randy was supposed to do that too. Before we got there, like he was the one who was trying to like build organization. It was certainly an interesting like first real job where you're like, wow, it's a bunch of Pro Tour champions and PhDs. Mm-hmm. Well, this is like every day is like a gladiator. Like I'm in some weird gladiator pit, but certainly like fun to be forged by that fire.
Yeah.
There was something you said. I did play League of Legends once. I played in the alpha one game. And I was like, why would people spend time on this? From like a making products perspective, you're like, I don't have time for this. I got stuff to make. It's a different like mentality when you're running your own business or like just oriented towards entrepreneurship. You're like, this leisure time thing.
Dude, League is
not for me. Yeah.
It's one of the most frustrating experiences you can have. It's unbelievable.
You're like an elite video gamer, right? Like you were in like the top 16 of StarCraft 2, like when it came out, right? You were like in the world championship and stuff.
So I believe this is true, is that I would have been fired from Wizards in my first 3 years. I'm sure you helped some on this too to not have it happen. Had I not been good at StarCraft, I believe this is true because Bill needed StarCraft players, and there's respect because I was the best StarCraft player, right? Worth might argue with me on that, but I was the best StarCraft player at Wizards. And it's just harder to fire the guy who stays after work to play StarCraft with Bill Rose.
I mean, you have like a lot of evidence that you're very good at game. There's a lot of evidence.
I was number 7 in League for a while. Yeah. So I was pretty
number
good.
7. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's
incredible. First Bloods against Reginald, who was part of that number 1 team back in the first year.
So like if you're listening at home, like all you need to do to become like a successful gaming entrepreneur,
just spend all your time.
Yeah.
Right. No bathroom breaks. Yeah.
I mean,
my obsession list is unreal, dude. I can just do it. Yeah.
We had to bring a bathroom to like Matt's desk at work. No, I'm just kidding. At all. We sat near a bathroom. It was totally professional.
But it was a problem. Like I think part of the issue is, you have all these smart people that maybe in their own ponds were the biggest fish is maybe not exactly the way to describe it, but that type of thing. And then also, how do you keep your authority? And I think that's one of the things that Randy, I think, was right that he should be the authority, but I think the way he tried to do it wasn't always right? And he didn't like me, right? That's
I don't remember that, but yeah.
Oh gosh. But kind of shutting people down in the wrong way. You know what I mean? Like, just isn't healthy, isn't going to inspire them to come in tomorrow with a great idea, right? So how do you make sure your dominance is, earned instead of kind of, you're hammering people down? I think that was a problem. Yeah. Not to complain too much. I love my time at Wizards. Yeah.
He was also like, I think in his first job, right? He came from a PhD program in philosophy at Pitt. So like all the management, I felt it like in my last years, I talked about it at some point, but it was like, man, like management in this ecosystem, and you're making me feel better about myself now. But like, it's like very hard to manage. Like one, you don't have experience. 2, like the only person anyone can talk to about management is Bill Rose, and he's really busy. So like I got lucky in that regard, could talk to him a fair amount, but it's still like, wow, the resources to manage in that time were like, there wasn't any support really. So like if you are the kind of person who like, is hard on yourself perpetually, holy cow, it was a hard climate to manage in. Not to say that like you shouldn't feel what you feel, but like, I definitely felt like in my 5th or 6th year, I was like, man, this people management part, like, I just wanted to make the game, man. This is like not my favorite thing. Like people are always way harder than product. I don't know like how much like you must deal with lots of people now as the boss, right? Is that, you're the boss? Is that right?
Yeah, I own the company, which makes it a very different perspective.
Yeah, right.
I
Yeah,
think a lot
but
of it
you're
too is
everything.
just
Yeah.
hiring, right? Like there's no, Luis worked more day to day with us in the beginning. We're ton with him and LSV in the first 7 years of our professional interacting. He's been streaming the game. If you want to watch him play, streamed one yesterday for Once Upon a
Oh,
Galaxy.
very
Great.
cool.
But yeah, I think that's part of it is just kind of his friends that I've kind of become a work relationship with those guys. They kind of naturally selected to the non, you know, what are you, an idiot? Like, I can't imagine anyone
Yeah,
saying that, right? As opposed to my early days of just playing Magic, even before I got to Wizards. What do we have? Like everybody in that category, basically, right? Like
it
everybody,
was.
don't make a mistake or you're going to be made fun of, right? Which, uh, you know, is probably really tough when you're not at the top, right? Like, and you're getting made fun of, right? Like, it's just not healthy. It's so
Yeah,
good to
I
work with
agree.
these people that are like, well, wait, but isn't this? And if you disagree with them, they have a totally legitimate perspective of saying, oh, you're right, or no, I don't think you're right, and valuing that, right? Like if I say, no, guys,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that X, Y, and Z, and Sam says, I actually disagree, and it's just like, oh, okay, put on the brakes. What did I miss? Oh, I want to
yeah,
hear
yeah,
this. You got something because I was so sure. It's wonderful. I love it. I love being wrong and learning. I love being right and getting it right. It's just great to like have the
yeah.
product be kind of the guide instead of, I love Henry Stern, right? He's hilarious, but you know, are we doing it his way because for the wrong
Uh,
reasons? I don't like that, right? That's not fun.
I also dislike that.
Yes. Yes. We don't
Yeah,
have
no,
to
it's I
commiserate too much, I guess. But
I like Henry. I have no real
oh,
qualms,
Henry's
but like there was a point where I was like at 45, and I felt like I had like the best sense of myself and had a ton of knowledge and a ton of skills and like was good at facilitating that type of conversation and like having the push and pull
yep.
where it was like, oh, I wish I could just be 45 forever. And it's like sad to me that humans like who develop all these interesting skills and like, heuristics as you're talking, like
Right.
start to lose them or like die someday. That's terrible. But
Yeah.
like, man,
My
get into
memory's
your
getting
like
worse.
40s were the best. You're like,
Yeah.
wow, I can really care about people and help people.
Yeah.
And then,
Love
you're still there. You're still there in that place. And so am I in theory.
it.
Uh,
Yeah.
but
You got
I,
at
I
least two.
agree. Maturity matters. Like we were all really pretty insecure, right? It's our first job and we're all like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
And
we grew a lot from it, but like
right.
we have a
And
long
being
way to go.
insecure and then somebody who's not attacking you, it seems like they are, right? It creates a bad vibe. Not that it was a bad vibe overall. I don't want to get too negative on this.
Yeah,
But
it
I
wasn't that bad.
remember some of our, you and me one on one, we didn't have a lot of that. I hope you agree with that. But
I just remember liking working with you. I don't remember.
oh
I
yeah,
remember going to the giving tree and I'm
yeah,
buying like I still have all the socks that we bought
yeah. With
20 years
I
later.
remember with
Yeah.
Jeremy Cranford, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, that was great. That was like when I was very new. I think like a month or three in. But I
Yeah.
remember you and me being at what's the mall next to Science City and that mall there. It's a mall.
Tukwila? Is it
Oh, no, no, no.
Tukwila?
Up by Science
Uh,
City. Anyways, you and I being there maybe after a pre-release, maybe or something. And we're talking about, lands or something in a set. What should we do with this? Let's go through the file. That felt really like one-on-one, we're able to have like meaningful conversations. Disappointingly, my skill wasn't there yet, right? I feel like if
yeah.
you teleport me back to that moment and you ask me the same questions or have the same goals, suddenly I got 9 good things for you instead of one, right? Uh, but that, yeah, I love that. I wish we had done that more. I wish we had focused on it
Yeah.
more. I wish we knew. Yeah, we could. Yeah, Magic, its potential was much higher. But actually, I remember arguing this exact thing with Randy. Right? Is like we were talking about pro. Oh yeah. Oh gosh, dude, we wasted so much time talking about the Hall of Fame. So
Tournament
funny
stuff.
story
Yeah.
there. I assume you were in the room. I remember Forsyth and
Probably.
Randy because he's the one saying it. Hey, how many pro player points did you have to be able to be eligible? And I had 96 and Randy had 104 or whatever. And Randy's like, how about 100? I'm like, okay, wait for Randy. Yeah, sure. That's a great round number. I mean, how do you argue against 100? But kind of arguing, the Brian Weissmans and, Derek Ranks of the world, right? There's, putting four balances of deck and doing it in a in a way that he had no data leading into it and made something that nobody on the planet probably had when Derek did it first. I don't know if Derek did it first, but it probably did. First time I ever saw it, right? And that good of execution. What is that skill? How valuable is that, right? There's different skills, right? Some of the people who are going to win Pro Tours don't need that skill anymore because they have so much data. They need a different skill to win the Pro Tours these days, right?
Yeah.
But how valuable is that? And how much of that do we have on our team back then, right? Kind of that like, I don't know anything, but my instincts are going to take me down the right path, right? Just how valuable that is in hindsight. And
Yeah, I can remember this because like I was like not interested in tournament play particularly. It was always like something I kind of felt like kind of dragged into. So it was funny as being someone who was known for not competitive play or for like strategy. Like, all right, I guess
beating
it's
everybody
just for
who is.
Yeah, all right. Well, I don't care. I guess I don't care about this. It doesn't apply for me.
Right, which is what we should have more been on that page. Oh, that's what I was going to say. You know, wasting time on talking about the Hall of Fame, which is important, but did we talk about it too much? Oh my gosh, yes. The other thing we talked about too much was the Great Designer Search. Oh my gosh, did we talk about that? Like, I don't know. Maybe you have a different perspective, but I just felt like we were talking about this way too much. My favorite Great Designer Search story is Devin's response, public response on the website when the guy says, "Oh, I got a mechanic, which is brittle or something, whatever he called it. You take 1 damage, you die. That's these creatures' drawback." And Devin's response is, "We already have that mechanic. It's called 1 toughness." Could you imagine like putting yourself out there and that's the only response you get on the Wizards website? But just wasting our time on this stuff instead of playtesting more maybe. That's another thing we didn't understand is how much playtesting versus file pass, right? I love the back and forth, right? We playtest and now we have more valuable things to say during a dev pass. But I'm going to make a weird example, but you can't say, "Oh, what an idiot Benjamin Franklin or whoever it was. They didn't know about ohms. They didn't know about resistance, electricity. What idiots." Everybody knows about that now. Like truly, that was part of the challenge for us, right? We just didn't have a bunch of information on how to make good magic sets, right? So when you're trying to, I don't know, how do you get the rocket to, escape orbit? There's like so many things we just didn't get, right?
Yeah, I think it's a process to figure out how to position yourselves and how to like there was a point when I was on Ravnica, I was actually expected to go to the brand team. I had talked to the brand team and they had agreed that I would go there around the same time Elaine had gone. And I was like ready for it. I was like, oh, I want to learn new things. Like I'm not learning anything where I'm at. I've already done it. I would have grown a lot, I think, from doing it. And the brand team all got let go. And so I was like, oh, and Elaine did end up going up there, which has turned out really well.
Yeah, I see. That's huge for Magic to have somebody who understands it so fundamentally to be on the brand team. Yeah.
I think that was a really smart play by Bill where Worth goes to OP and to digital, and then you have Elaine doing that. I think that was like really essential to getting all the parts to work together and to figure out how to like build that. Like, I don't know if you remember like how separate the teams felt. Right?
Oh, yes.
Like it was insane how like, we saw the brand team like 3 times when we were working on the set, right? That's how it felt like. Even though we were all working on the same thing in organized play, like they just had to eat whatever we did. And then, Magic Online.
Remember when Purvis got hired? In 2006? He loved Magic. Me. Oh, he was Magic. He loved Magic. It was great for him to be on the brand team, right? I remember.
It does help. Loving the game helps.
Yeah, just understanding like why is this new 6/6 flyer for 4 exciting? You don't have to tell Purvis. He knows in his heart why it's exciting, right? I remember some stories on that. I remember it was just my first year. Do you remember when we would go to the downtown airport to watch the movie theater to have Hasbro tell us the financials? Yeah. And a few funny stories from that. But one is, oh my gosh, do you remember Charm Sisters? What was it called?
Charm Club.
Charm Club. Yeah. And so the numbers were in thousands of units sold or something. And there was a 1 for Charm Club. And everybody's chuckling. And the guy's like, settle down, the financial guy, I forget his name. What was his name? Anyways, he's like, hey, everybody. I wrote a 1 because that's the smallest number I wanted to write. It did not sell 1,000 units. So then we all laughed again. Oh, so sad. But I remember being there, and the CEO at the time, whose name I'm forgetting, is like, "Oh yeah, and all those guys out in Magic R&D, a bunch of rocket scientists," which truly Henry
Some of them
Stern
are,
was,
yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
else was, I think. Uh, and then all the people around me who I didn't know, I'm new at Wizards, are like, "Ugh, just like, R&D, da, da, da." And I'm like, "Oh wow, I didn't
That
know."
was a real undertone,
Yeah,
like
it was that animosity towards us because we think we're so smart and we're rude to people. I mean, that was just real, right? We're jerks and, on average, right? Not cool. I remember, right when Forsyth, you must have been there at this time. Forsyth talks, I forget his name, Chris something, talks him into presenting the new marketing campaign, which
yeah,
is Here I Rule, and the doors, which I made fun of infinitely, the doors that you could peek through and see new artwork or whatever. And they were just going to put them up in parks. Just like this insane idea. Uh, and he's presenting to us and we're jerks to him. We're rude about the ideas and, regardless whether or not they're good, it's just not cool, right? It
yeah.
doesn't make them want to interact with us. And then your story of being in kickboxing class, I don't know if you remember this, Liddy's like, I wish at Wizards we did something else. We made just something else like leather jackets. Yeah, that's also cool. Why are you working at Wizards if you wanted to make leather jackets? Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that I wrote in the story a bit without being too specific that, like, if you were in R&D, it seemed like a fun place to work, but, like, if you weren't, it seemed like we were pretty, um, I'd say tone deaf or ignorant of the fact that, like, we were making a negative impact with some of those, like,
Yeah.
personality traits. Like, everyone didn't fit into that, like, I think, but, historically, there was this artifact of, like, "Hey, there's, like, people have too smart disease in this department." And,
Yes.
I think that was true then, and it probably isn't true now. Like, if you're like, I never thought Humphreys had too smart disease, like, for
Yeah.
Forsyth doesn't. There's a humility that comes with it that,
Right.
like, the people who predate us don't have that humility
Right.
by and large, right? Yeah, none of them did. I'd say that, like, that's, like, a pretty youth defining trait of the people who are there before us. I
Yeah.
did think that we were, like,
I think you're right. I think it's totally
yeah.
different now at RD. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we were more adjusted, right? Like,
You and I were. Yes.
yeah, I think that's true. I
Yep.
think, Aaron is certainly more adjusted. Turian's pretty
Yes.
adjusted, right?
Yep.
So
Trade
it's,
makes the people around him happy. Yeah.
that dude
It's
is
yeah.
wonderful. He's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
he right it's funny, I hadn't thought of it, but my daughter is, like,
Word
kind of like
also
this
much better.
he's a
Yeah.
happy guy. He
Yeah.
makes you feel good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're celebrating, change that we hadn't consciously celebrated before. Um, yeah, I think hmm. What's the favorite card that you made? Like, what's the favorite,
Oh,
forget Ravnica. Everyone says Ravnica. Yeah, Ravnica. But, like,
yeah.
you made a lot of cards. Like, anything? Remember? Do you remember the name of the card that you made?
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember any cards that we made? Because
So
I don't.
so you and I made infinite commons. Infinite commons, right? We did a lot of common, like taking out commons that were too complex and putting in, I think, better commons. Those
Mhm,
aren't splashy. Those are hard to remember. Those were collaborative and, putting in a 2/1 that says, when I'm tapped, you get to scry one or whatever it was back then, pick at the top of your deck or whatever, isn't memorable, isn't like nobody's favorite card that they're going to present to you, but I do think
mhm.
makes Magic play a lot better. Right.
Yeah,
But that's what you and I specifically did a ton of, right?
yeah.
How many hundreds of commons did we make over the 5 years that you and I overlapped?
I think of Ravnica and, like, there was a very
Yeah.
conscious desire to make the game slower so that, like, mana problems weren't an issue, and so you see more walls and, like, signets and, all the
Right.
different bounce lands and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, those are, like, deep gameplay design things that don't happen until, like, they get to you or me, right? You and me. But,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
And
So
the
you
rare duels were very powerful and very healthy for the game. Magic was fun. That's actually a big lesson that I
it is
certainly didn't understand day one, but I don't know that I understood very well my whole time at Wizards, which is balance is a servant to fun.
oh, yeah,
And we
for
didn't
sure.
talk enough that way, right? Maybe you got that better than me, but like that's huge, right? And like, is
Mm,
it, you know, oh, the signets are too good. Oh, the bounce lands were way too good. They produce 2 mana and like they're basically a 2-for-1 on a land, but it's like, no, man, the format's fun. right? Standard wasn't defined by this in a bad way, right? There's a little bit of how it comboed with Clark Clan Ironworks from the previous block or whatever, but it wasn't, it didn't go wrong in a bad way. Standard was pretty good, and certainly limited was amazing. There was kind of a pullback that we made a mistake on in Alara, right? We said, hey, the last time we did a gold set, we did too much color fixing. Let's push for color fixing. Set one, we did bad color fixing for Alara, and I think it hurts really, really bad, right? We made a big mistake there. And right. So how do you get to a spot? Yeah. So anyways, I guess my point there is like, really just kind of have a philosophy or, kind of a code of like, what are we trying to do here? Hey, obviously I need to be able to cast my spells, and maybe we didn't have enough playtesting time to really understand how hard it was to cast, CDE, we called them, right? The triple color guys. But also just like understanding and kind of being like, hey, gameplay first, right? Which is written on a statue outside at the fountain at Blizzard, right? Gameplay first, right? And like, the Mercadian Mask / Urza's block pullback that affected us in the next 5 years, right? Kind of happened a bit in Alara in a bad way. Anyways, I think that's something that like wouldn't have been great if we kind of understood it better to know what we should be pushing.
I had dinner with Bill Rose one night after I'd left Wizards, and he had Shards of Alara with me in like R&D card form. And so he and I were playing it. And it was interesting because I remember when we made Ravnica, like how we had done our best to like make the game feel comfortable enough that you would get to a mid game. And when I played Shards of Alara, all those pieces weren't there. And it was like, oh, I know exactly like what's the difference here. And it was really late in development, so I don't think anything would have changed, but like I felt it for sure. I was like, wow. But I don't know if it's bad. This is one where like where Magic has gone, like do they do the kind of things that we did in Ravnica anymore, where we were like slowing it down? Because it feels like it's much more aggressive and, creature first, and like I don't know if I would say I'd say, is it more skill-based or less skill-based now versus before?
Oh, is it more skill-based? I don't know. I haven't really thought of it through that lens in a while. It's definitely faster. Tempo is more part of limited consistently, even though there's a range. I think they do a really good job of, I think this is after you. Do you remember me making this argument? I thought this was a great argument of like, I'm trying to argue against, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting people's names. Mark Globus and my other friend want to have Mana Leak in whatever, M11 or whatever.
Sure.
And, of course, Mana Leak is something, right? When you say there's a 2-mana counterspell that's pretty easy to cast,
it's very
what
good.
does a format look like, right? And we had it in the last 2 years. I forget exactly what sets it's in. But kind of, I started arguing the sine wave, right? Like, hey, we just had the 2-mana counter. Let's do a year without it, right? So we got to take it out of this set and this set, and then we're going to have it over here again in the future. And that was really good because it seemed to resonate with people. Like, oh, we're taking a break from it. Matt's not arguing 2-mana counterspells are the devil. Matt's arguing we're taking a break so that the format can feel different. And that seemed to resonate with people and be a winning argument. I think that actually applies to a ton of things. And I think they do an amazing job of that now, especially for limited, where it's like, oh, what does a 2-mana 2/1 flyer mean to this format now? Well, there's these really powerful enchantments that cost 3, or there's not, right? And what does it mean? Can I win a game off of this? Can I expect to do X, Y, and Z? If I get color screwed, how likely am I to die? Eventually have to concede by turn 5 versus not. I think they do a good job of mixing that up, right? The color fixing ebbs and flows per limited set in a really good way, right? Some are super liberal, not to the level of Ravnica. Talk about liberal, right? We were super, because didn't we also have like Terramorphic Expanse or something?
Like
we had like
make sure
2 colorless, right? Or the 1-mana artifact cantrip, right? We had 2 colorless things plus the 4
Barb Sextant,
plus the 4 lands, plus the rares, of course. Came up some. But anyways, I think they do a great job of that. But I think that's something we could have kind of a lens to think through back then would have been better. It's like, hey, this was really powerful last 3 years. Now what are we doing? Well, how are we changing it up? How can we seed something, right? I think Lauer, who's also a master, by the way, you overlapped with Lauer more than 0.
No, he shows up in September, but we were like good friends before. Like, it was kind of sad because I really like her, but
I love Lauer so much.
Yeah, really he's wonderful,
wonderful person. But we also had the ego. We had ego battles, but also at the end of the day, if somebody's right, right, which Lauer often was, it's gonna be what we're talking about, which is healthy. I think we had good, healthy ego. But anyways, but he's very good, and my little brother, who became built the play design team, right, which is crazy to think. Long after I left, I think there's a lot of good thinking by them on like, hey, we're putting these multi-lands at rare they're going to see next year, right? Those types of like block planning in the future in like a meaningful way for what standard's going to look like. Also, a weird thing for us is we thought standard, right? We also thought about limited, of course, and block, but that went away for a while, which is also just like, I don't think we could have comprehended that. Don't you need to sell the new set? Don't you care about last 2 years of Magic? But anyways, I think that's really healthy. So but to go back to your question, which somehow I got totally off track on, what am I most proud of? My first one that I was really proud of, that you and Henry liked right away, is Fireman Angel. So it's the first time we had something that was like kind of that type of active. I mean, obviously another Spirit Mash and Ghoul existed, but giving you a life return while it's down there, having it reanimate, just like kind of feels good. I think that was a good design. And then my last one that I felt good also was a Graveyard Reanimator. I forget the name of it. I think it's 4 mana, 4/3 haste. Comes back if you play 3 creatures in a turn. It'll reanimate itself.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it incentivized the right deck, right? It wasn't, the wrong deck. You got to play 3 creatures a turn. What does that look like? But you have some late game against, right? It's got haste that deals 4 damage. That's pretty good against control and, can fight mid-speed decks, right? Trades with some other Baloths, maybe. That was a pretty good card, whatever that's called. Maybe it starts with a B. Yeah.
It's interesting. I was talking to Mike Elliott yesterday about the Tabletop Games Hall of Fame, and the fact that you made a bunch of tabletop games on digital, does that prevent you? You know what I mean? Does that count or not?
Oh yeah.
Are you not like Reiner Knizia enough? Do you need to have more widgets to like which Hall of Fame are you qualified for? Because like I do think that like you've got a great game lineage. Like when it happens, if it happens, maybe someone on Substack will start a gaming Hall of Fame for the designers and whatnot.
For Game Hall of Fame, you have to have 100 game design points, and I have 96. So actually, speaking of Mike Elliott,
but you're not bitter. You're not.
So Mike. Oh, not at all. No, dude, I do read reviews, and it warms my heart. Like, actually, this makes me. Oh man, I'm gonna cry. Tycho, who is, I don't know if did you interact with him much? We did a few charity things with him at Wizards. Tycho, who is Jerry over at Penny Arcade.
Okay.
He said Galaxy is his favorite game of all time, not close.
Wow.
I assume he's exaggerating, but still, thank you for exaggerating. I love this. That feels so good, man. But to go back to Mike Elliott's made more masterpieces than people might know, right? He should be in it. He is in the Hall of Fame. He should be.
He did a lot of cool stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So Battle Spirits is post Wizards. There's so many drama stories too at Wizards, right? Did he rub anybody wrong? Oh my God, yes, right? Didn't rub me wrong. I'm ready for that type of thing.
Yeah,
and I like interacting with Mike. And also, he's going to tell you something that's a true gem, right? Yeah. Oh man, the old story. God, I got so many. Dude, Gutierrez. I miss Gutierrez. Dude, Gutierrez, the magic historian, right? Like, you probably remember this, but like, he would just orate to us. Like, here's what happened before you guys started working here. And you were probably overlapping with some of that stuff. I just loved listening to Gutierrez tell me what happened with Magic and R&D, right?
He was one of the people that you could have potentially learned how to manage people from. Like, I remember Worth had Robert as a manager, and he was like, Robert is good at this. And no one else really like had that experience. I think I would like to have Robert on here so that everyone can be entranced by his wisdom, right?
Yeah, I talked to him years ago. He wanted me to do a read of his book that he did with Scaff and Garfield.
Yeah.
I lost contact with him. I'd love to chat with him. God, I love Richard. I love Robert. Anyways, me, you, and Robert and Mike Elliott sat in our, like, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Quad, right? Our 4 chairs were like facing away from each other, but just turn them and all chat. And I chatted a bunch with Elliott. I believe Mike. He tells me, he's a pro figure skater, but I believe him that he made Slivers, which is truly one of the most badass, awesome designs of all time, right? Such a cool concept that plays out so well. And the 49th sliver is somebody's favorite sliver. What a cool design space that he created, right? Truly, truly awesome. He made Battle Spirits. And so Battle Spirits has the +1 mana turn mechanic that Hearthstone would adopt. We fly Mike down to hang out with us for 2 weeks to do design on Hearthstone.
Mhm.
And dude, this was touching. Dodds, also a true master, right? These two guys are true masters. Dodds tells him, "Oh yeah, you were a huge inspiration for Hearthstone, X, Y, and Z, and blah 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 blah." And Mike starts tearing up. But isn't that cool?
Aw,
Like $1 billion
that is cool.
game. It's like, hey man, you really helped do that. Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, another person who's a master, different Mike, right? Mike Donay.
Yeah. I
Dude,
haven't seen him in forever.
right, super, super, super smart, but not to insult him at all, but like me, didn't really understand it yet while I was at Wizards. But then
Mhm.
he leveled up 19 times, goes to Blizzard and, makes Battlegrounds and all these other just like beloved games. Yeah, pretty awesome. And I'm sure he made D&D. I mean, 3.5 is awesome. And I believe he's one of the major pieces of 3.5,
Yeah,
3.75.
he and Finch moved over, and
Yeah, Finch.
I think made a pretty material impact. Like, that was a good window for sure.
Yeah, and I love that era of D&D. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked working with Mike. He was there before you, and he and I were working on Magic on Odyssey block, I think, and then he was working Onslaught. And then you show up and he shifts to D&D. But I thought he was pretty great to work with back then.
And Onslaught, I think, is another one that is. Do you put it in the masterpiece category? Maybe. It's close.
It was cool. Like, it was good. Like, for me, like, Invasion was very good.
Yep.
I think Ravnica was really good.
Yep.
Onslaught was good. You have Mirage. Like, I like Mirage and Tempest a lot, but those are also biased by the fact that we were still like,
it was our
early in the
day.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think it's hard to do what Mirage, Onslaught, Invasion. I think Mirage and Invasion are the top two for me. Innistrad comes close, I think, but the upgrades from the surrounding sets, both before and after, it's hard to do that anymore because so many sets are just so good.
Yeah, it's been 30 years.
But back then, those sets I think are exceptional for just being so far ahead of the things around them. I mean, Mirage is close to, Antiquities and Homelands, right? It's within a few years and just 90,000 times better, right? Mirage blew our minds, right? Limited went from maybe to absolutely because of Mirage, right? And Bill Rose, I think, is the one who you give the most props to. Invasion did it again. And I think that's Bill Rose again, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
He was pretty good.
Yeah. And he's retiring or retired.
I thought he had retired already.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I talked to Bill like a year or two ago because I worked at a capitalistic, hyper aggressive startup in AI, and then we acquired this studio that was like pretty far left. And I was like, the only person I know who has figured out how to like understand an organization well enough to make this go well is Bill. And so I was like, hey man, like, what do I need to be thinking here? And he gave me some pretty good advice, and it did go well. They actually were a great team that understood where the world was going.
So this
he's
is
that
money.
kind of wise. Yeah.
I thought about this, and you're mentioning startups. Is like, I know that Rosewater, Forsyth, and Bill had to be compensated incredibly well at Wizards, right? Especially with the, doubling and tripling stuff, right? They had to be. But they're so good at what they do. How much more money would they have made had they done startups? Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true even, but it seems like, Bill Rose could have led a startup, Anyways, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for Bill, like, he was at Wizards when it probably, like, two of those were at Wizards when it was kind of a startup still, right? Where they predate the Hasbro purchase. Yeah, no. To be frank, like, having done all kinds of startup-y things now, like, working on Magic is probably one of the things that I would say is the coolest, partly because it's still here, right? Like, I worked on the biggest digital game in the world, and it's gone. It was gone, and like, like, it was only around for like 2 or 3 years, and then it was dead.
Oh,
and
Zynga.
like, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And so you're like, that was worthless. Like, I made a lot of money, and I hate everything about what we did.
I remember talking to you about it, kind of the A/B testing and the pressure for numbers and data to be, it sounded horrid.
Yeah, it's not art at all. It was just finance, like tech optimization, like make the most money out of this information as possible while the opportunity exists for you to exploit and then move to the next one, right? It was really like predatory.
Yeah, it sounds like the opposite of whatever I would ever want to do. You were there with
Yeah.
Tensman, Henry
Yeah.
Stern,
Yeah. Ben Sec was there.
Oh, Ben Sec. Okay. I guess I knew that. Yeah, I chatted with Ben Sec a bit. He's good friends with Matt Nass as well, I think. But yeah, we were having a few phone calls when we were doing our 2 startups ago. And then were you there with Chris Kale?
Yeah, I like Chris. I actually went to visit his team in Austin, and I was like hanging out with them for a week trying to help them with their launch. And I met Chris there, and I was like, this guy's pretty cool. And he's at Wizards. I haven't talked to him a lot since, but
he left.
I liked him.
He left Wizards now, but yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's very skillful, very intelligent. He does have the like sits on top of you instead of letting you bloom.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Who else do I know? Singing a few others maybe.
I mean, it was pretty enormous for its day. It was a good talent house. Do I like what they did? I don't know. Like it's one of those things where you'd rather work on art than like tech in general. So I feel like I learned a lot. Henry ended up being extremely important to my survival there. Like early on, Henry worked on Mafia Wars, and I came in, and my company got divided to work on a game called Treasure Isle and a game called Cityville. And I was like, Henry, what the hell is this place? Like, what's going on? And then he's like, this is the spreadsheet. And he's like, this is what you need to know about the spreadsheet. And then after I talked to Henry, it was like, oh, I understand everything now. But without him as an interpreter, I don't think the culture could have survived. I think many of us would have died. You needed people who could explain what reality is sufficiently well, such that anyone could understand what reality is, right?
They're at Zynga.
So, at Zynga, yeah. Reality. It was so weird and like jarring. Like you needed a Henry. Henry was more valuable to that company than I think they realized.
that makes a lot of sense to me that Henry was right for them. Yeah.
John Yu was there, and he did not like Zynga. He actually was like, I want to see my kid and love my family, and I want to see them. And so he left very quickly, but he was there and actually worked on Cityville and did a lot of great work. And
because John left Blizzard in 2003, maybe 2004. I don't know what he did in between that, I guess. Yeah.
He worked on Hero, like there was a Heroes game back in like the
superhero MMO.
Yeah, it was like very successful for a time.
Cormac Russell worked on that too, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. He worked on like the Galaxy of Heroes or whatever it was, and then ended up working on a bunch of games at Gazillion that I think were around for a while. I don't know. He did a lot of MMO stuff. But,
which is also where Mike Donay and Robert Charrow were for a bit, and Jeff Donay.
And Devin, I think, was there.
Oh, he was? Oh, okay. Did I know that? Maybe. By the way, speaking of Devin, I interacted with him a little bit over the last few years, but was hanging out with him some when I first moved back to Washington. It's so neat, too. I love this story, too. Just what did people go do after they left Wizards?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Some of us left on our own. Some of us got fired. But, like, it's kind of crazy. Like, it might have been right for Wizards to let go of some people, but the amount of success these people have after they leave Wizards is insane, right?
It's insane,
Mike makes Battle Spirits, and he was telling me, Mike sometimes exaggerates, but Mike was telling me he's making $1 million a year off of the royalties for like 7 years, right? Yeah. I've been to his house. It's not small. Devin, is he, I don't know if he's number one in the world for like, he made a board game that has the most expansion.
Legendaries. Yeah. Legendary is super cool, right?
Yeah. Super cool. I see giant posters of it up at game shows and like,
why is he not in the Tabletop Hall of Fame?
Expansions? It's insane, right?
He should be in the Tabletop Hall of Fame at some point, even though he's made video games. It's not a bad thing to make video games too.
And what other people have gone on to make is just, it's kind of incredible, right? Like Wizards kind of is, we didn't have, what is it called, Wholesale? We didn't have anywhere, like you and I, when we were in college, there was no go learn game design, 0%.
No.
It was Wizards of the Coast. That's where a lot of people, right? And then they go on to, work at Blizzard or whatever, right? Mike Donay, right? Goes on to be, but I think Devin and Mike are both like, kind of the highest you can be before you're a VP, I think, at those companies. Maybe they're VPs now, right? It's impressive.
Yeah, Tyler, did Gears of War. And,
oh yes, and Hearthstone. He joined Hearthstone after I
right?
left.
Yeah,
and then he did. Yeah, it's fun to see what people did. He did Jason versus Freddy horror console game. I remember. And that did he?
And
he
a
did,
Funko
right?
game. He did a Funko game or something. Yeah.
And then he's on something now. He just started something new. I remember reading about it, but I don't know. Microsoft. He's back at Microsoft, maybe? No. He did do Microsoft for a while. I don't know. Tyler's a fun type of crazy too.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think at some point Tyler will probably be on here. We've talked a little bit, but certainly he and I had a lot of fun over the years that I can't really talk about. but a very
remember the object
game
behind
maker.
his office.
Yeah. I can't really speak to what that was.
How do you not get fired for that? I don't get it.
In retrospect, it might not have been a good decision for whoever made that thing happen, but times are different. Tyler was a friend and did not do, also Tyler may have pulled a few pranks in his day. So how did you not get fired for that? You never got pranked, did you?
Henry got pranked. No Snifty Snakes, no anything. Yeah, why was that?
Oh yeah, Snifty Snakes.
I think just maybe my personality. People are like, it's not.
You couldn't take it. Well. You're too sweet for rock.
He's gonna cry. That guy's gonna cry. We all know it.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, Henry just felt like the obvious choice the first time, right? I think, like,
to prank him.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like Tyler, I think it was Tyler or Brandon and I were talking, and we're like, all right, it's got to be Henry first. I don't know why. Henry just felt like he had like the right target. He would just enjoy it most, and so he got it first.
Everything was glued to his desk.
It was a farm. We put a farm there, and then later on, he worked on farm bills, so we were just helping educate him ahead of time. Like he had it was fun. Why didn't you prank other people? That's the question. No. Why didn't you follow in the footsteps? Somebody did.
Yeah, was I nice to people? What was the?
Sure, you were nice to people. We did Giving Tree. You can feel good about that.
There you go. Everything else canceled because we didn't get No.
Did you ever work on the games that died? Like we were kind of Henry acolytes, right? We're like stay close to the tree.
Well, I remember you telling me that. I think I just messaged you that. Yeah, I remember you saying, Matt, stay close to the tree. So this is the Gleemax days.
Oh God, yeah.
Randy gets a $25 million check from Hasbro to do a digital initiative, right? And that spins up.
It's impressive. It's not easy to do that. Yeah.
To get the check written?
Yeah. No, that's hard. Like that is a hard thing to do. Yeah.
And so this is something that goes through my head now. This is a bit egotistical. It's just like anytime I see a video game that clearly had funding that's not good, I'm always like, I should have talked to them
a long time ago.
They should have given me that money. But definitely in hindsight, right? If we had 25 million now and we're working with those IPs, right? What could we have done? D&D, Transformers, G.I. Joe. I don't know. What would we do now, right? It could be awesome. But yeah, you told me to stay close. I did play testing for Goblin Game. I didn't work on any of the others. No, of course, Magic was part of it, I guess. Magic Online 4.0, whatever it was, 3.0. We did that. Yeah. So many thoughts on that too. Like just hiring, right? A lot of what we talked about today too is about hiring, right?
People. Yeah.
And, going to was it the second floor? I'm now forgetting. But anyways, going down, we were on the fourth floor and we went down to the second floor to interact with all the engineers. And I'm sure they're intelligent and gamers and like stuff, but they weren't into Magic. And so you're explaining some of the rules of Magic while also trying to get the UI and get something across. Also just the looseness of why is Matt Place telling them stuff for UI 3 times a month? That doesn't, there should be an owner that's talking to them that Matt has to talk to, right? Right or wrong or whatever I was saying. But, we got a sliding bar to make your cards grow and shrink live while you're playing because your game state changes. You have 19 cards and you have 3 cards sometimes, right? So how do you adjust for that? And it's like, these aren't necessarily good ideas though, because it's a little weird to be adjusting my size and just in my quadrant of the game when I'm playing 4-player on Magic Online. I don't know, just all these things. How much better does all that go if we just hire, which obviously there's infinite people, really smart, talented engineer that also plays Magic and loves Magic and just instinctually will get a lot of this stuff.
Those do exist, man.
Right. And that's part of the joke, right? Oh, we can't find somebody, both an engineer for a computer and likes Magic. And it literally made me sick playing that new version of Magic. Why when I'm drafting, are my cards like a different size on the top versus the bottom? It's one pack. What is the, trying to figure out the reasoning and, doing those play tests and being like, I don't want to do, like, you clearly have more to do before we do play testing. Right. But yeah. Lots of people hired, lots of dead ends, I think, explored on different games, right? Talented people, just not with the right direction or the right leadership. I don't know, but it's very sad that happened with $25 million kind of just mostly evaporated. Is that fair to say? I don't know if that's true, but it feels like that was true.
Yeah, for my sake, whenever like the accordion got too far, like it got pretty heavy. So like on Time Spiral, like we were quite stretched for attention. Gleemax shows up, and so like I didn't make it to Gleemax. Like it got too heavy, right? So it I don't entirely know. I know Tiny Adventures came out, and the people who worked on that like were proud of it. It was growing pretty well.
People like that, yeah.
And that was all I know that like showed
Greg
up.
Marks?
It's not. Oh yeah, Greg is a pretty smart dude. I met Greg Marks at Cornell through Magic in like 1995. Like, it's like really weird. I knew
that. Yeah.
I knew Greg before there was a Pro Tour, I think. So it's really weird how like Magic life worked. That was like the fun part of like writing all these stories, because you meet all these weird people, like in your case, Chris, but like there were so many people to meet in like 1994 and 95 that like went on to do really interesting things. I don't know what happens today like that. How do people develop now? Do you know how your children will develop? Because I don't know yet.
Well, I was just thinking about this morning, reading another article about screen time being bad for development. And I'm like, how do I not do it? Also, because I game, right? So it's going to, when you said Cornell 95, it's funny how many people, we know from that time. And obviously, you know more than me, but like Bartholow, Pakula, Price. I know more people. I know more people whose names I'm forgetting. Yeah. I did not know that Greg was part of that crew. How do I not know
there? There was a guy named Mark Aquino who was finished in the top 4 of a Pro Tour. Well, right before I went to Wizards. And he and I were pretty good friends early on. That's how I met all those people.
Was he also friends with Bartholow and Price? There's like another friend who I'm not remembering their name. Maybe it's him. Yeah.
Why are we forgetting? Weren't you on Team Dead Guy?
Yeah, I would say kind of.
Kind of? Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, Worth, very much a part of that crew.
Yeah, Worth was there.
A year later, maybe, but yeah.
Oh,
I didn't know Worth
Side.
until like 95, 96, I feel like.
It's Tony Side, right? It's gotta be.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, awesome, like Tony was very good.
Awesome human. Yeah. Fun human. Yeah.
He is fun. I saw those guys. It was interesting. So I used to visit Pakula in Philadelphia when I lived there, and we would practice for tournaments. And I think like Tony and Dave were there, but they were so interested in like digital games at that point that like they no longer like could be called card players. Like you would just play with Chris, or like Jamie Park would be there sometimes. You'd be like, all right. Yeah. But like something happened to Dave and Tony. Herberholtz. Yeah.
Yeah.
I played on a team with Herberholtz like after I worked at Wizards, and I have not played regularly in 20 years. So I had to like sharpen up in like 3 or 4 weeks before the tournament. And Herberholtz was like a very talented player. He was I found that like if I gave myself 3 or 4 weeks, like with some formats, I could get to like 95% good. With like it was Return to Ravnica or something. It was like the gold set was too hard to learn on my own in the time frame and like time I had. And so I think Herberholtz was like the right captain for that team. It was the first time where it was like I didn't have the like time and cycles to get good enough to champion a team, and he would have been a better one. He was a really great player for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was railing Railbird for Hawaii, which was Ravnica plus what? Is that right?
It was Ravnica plus Champions. I was there. It was the last tournament I went to.
We were both there. Okay.
It was the best format I've ever seen, like from like a making Magic perspective. I thought that like It was the first time where you went to an event and like there's 30 decks in the Pro Tour and they're all pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
We were proud of ourselves. Yeah.
We should be. It was
and
that's like one of the few times that ever happened.
When Lightning Helix is an all-star format, that's a healthy format, I believe, right? Instead of, the other cards we were talking about.
That's our crowning achievement, Matt.
Oh,
like,
Land Ho?
That format. Land D Ho, yeah.
Yeah. And you're very good friends with him, or good friends?
Good friends, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty much
the three of us didn't hang out, although I've hung out with you Infinite and him Infinite. Yeah, he would come, he'd just stay in Kansas City with us for a summer. Yeah, Land's amazing.
Yeah, he is a pretty great fellow.
Eric will talk to one of his best friends. Yeah, Eric.
Yeah, I do want to ask questions about that, but not now.
Very sad.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while. But
Land's had some health issues. I've texted him once every 2 years. One of the craziest days of my life is when he called me to tell me about Eric, and the same time I'm making like the literal biggest business deal of my life.
Oh yeah, no, I remember that.
The same 2 hours. Like, it was just like, what is this reality? Yeah. But now I live down the street from the old house that I used to live in with Eric. Check it if people, any MTG Pro people. And yeah.
I think we can speak to it. I feel like, to some extent, like a similar story. So Eric was running and died of a heart attack. Is that right?
Yeah. And and his wife, who, I'll be pretty candid, I used to live with her and loved her. She passed 9 years earlier. And then those 3 kids, been trying to help them. Yeah, man, it is not awesome. His mom, Carla, she lives just down the street. She calls me her son now, and love her. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're there. I don't think I fully knew the stories until more recently, which was really sad because I had hung out with Eric a bunch in Austin when I was there.
Good.
And liked him quite a bit. So it was pretty sad. I was saying, like, Byron Amin. Do you remember that guy, Byron? He was
no.
He was from the DC area. He played on Pro Tours, and he was a store owner and ran events. Also played on the Pro Tour, and he passed away right before I started the book. And so it was like, oh, this whole project. It's like we're not going to be here forever, right? I think I had like realized Eric had passed too around that time, and it was just like, let's like record it and like bring back the good times now while we can, right? Because we're not.
I love that.
In 5 years, we won't remember.
Don't remember. No.
Yeah,
I remember
it
sucks.
Oh no, I'm familiar. For those listening at home who are still in your 20s, like, cherish them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
Well, interesting. Okay. So are you in the Pacific Northwest or in Kansas?
No, this is Kansas City. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is where we grew up. I knew Eric since he was, I'm going to say, 3rd grade. Is that right? 3rd grade, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And we lived together for years. And he was over at my house. I was over at his house all the time. We were little kids. And then he had, some of the best decks here in Kansas City. Dude, just to brag, it was crazy, man. Here in the Midwest, you had to drive far, right? It wasn't like New England or, the West Coast where there was like a bunch of game stores within, 100 miles. Like, we had to drive far to get to some of these tournaments, right? And when we went, somebody in our car, unbelievable percentage, won one of the tournaments, right? And Eric was often the one who was winning. And dude, we were into Magic. Collecting, trading was just huge for us. I don't know how much trading was a big thing for you, but just like,
it was the big deal. It was like more important than playing.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, same. Yeah, we started off, okay, we're going to play. And then, I don't know, within a week or two, Legends comes out. So I started after you, or I don't remember when you started.
It sounds like around the same time.
Okay. So June 94. And once people wanted our cards, because we drove around town, I spent less than $100 buying packs. Some of them were $10 a pack because nobody had, 3 boxes, right? Everybody's getting 1 or 2. And then you found out, all these people who have moxes and all these things we were never going to get, we thought, wanted our uncommons that they didn't get in their boxes, right? Remember the AV box, right? And then so trading became the thing, and we were just trading, building up these awesome collections. Eric had an amazing collection, dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of sets of, multi-lands and all these. Yeah, just an insane collection. Yeah. Oh man, sad. Speaking of insane collections, I'll tell you some funny stories. So Chris, Path of Exile. These are important stories for Magic the Gathering. I'll get to the important one. But so Brian Weissman and I are flying out to New Zealand to go hang out with Chris. And Brian has I forget what it was rated, but very high rated Elvish Archer Alpha. And Chris is super excited. We get there and he's like, oh yes, I got this. And I'm like, I thought Chris had like an insane collection. Now, why is he so excited? He's like, this completes my 11th set of Alpha.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. And then, so here's
we all have goals.
What?
We all have goals. It continues.
Yeah. No, you were in Vegas and there's like 3 Black Lotuses laying on the table in one of the hotel rooms that one of the other guys has. Right. And Brian's like, hey, whose Black Lotuses are these? And people aren't sure. Oh, just so you have that. Yeah. So Chris buys Christopher Rush's original art for Lotus. Do you know this story?
No.
It's crazy. Okay. So he buys it. I don't know if this is 2 years ago, but whatever, a few years ago. And he goes in New Zealand, he goes to the bank to put it in a safe deposit box. It's in a like protective glass. It will not fit in the safety deposit box. They have to put it in one of the larger ones up high. A few weeks later, New Zealand has the floods. So all these like super valuable cards that he had put in the safety deposit box get ruined. He calls the bank owner in the middle of the night, says, you have to let me into the bank, right? My stuff's going to get ruined. Let me in. So they go in there wading through the flood. All of his cards are ruined, but because the one thing didn't fit, the Black Lotus original art had to be put up higher, it did not get ruined. Wow. The world would have lost Black Lotus original art. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That is the kind of detail that I wanted to hear today.
Yeah. Dude, that's crazy.
I didn't want to hear the cards. I didn't.
Yeah.
That is like, and Chris Crush is gone. There's no other Black Lotus to make. Yeah. That's a really weird circumstance. Yeah. I'm sad to hear that his cards were ruined. Yeah, that sucks. He'll do all. Do you want any art? Yeah.
No, that's a huge mistake I made.
Yes.
Do you remember? You obviously remember these days, right? Where it was just like, I don't know, randomly, it's like, hey, it's auction day. Who wants to bid on these like 400 theme decks that are foreign? $18.
There were a ton of boxes, right? You had like Urza's block boxes.
Here's a set of sealed product. It's going for $98. Who wants to buy it? It's like, well, I get it for free, so I'm not going to buy it. Paladin original art was one of those. Do you remember what it went for? I feel like it was like just a few hundred.
Awesome. Yeah, everything was like dirt cheap. I spent over $1,000. I spent over $1,000 for sure on that stuff.
I remember Turian and Nate Heiss were smart and bought some stuff too. Yeah, I was not.
I'm sure Worth bought a ton of it. That guy was like a very good collector.
Yes. Yeah. It blew people's minds. I remember it was like Purvis or somebody from Brand would come by and they'd be like, hey guys, what was it called when they would check collation? That product was called, I don't know, the collation product, whatever it was called. Yeah. They're like, hey, we're going to throw it out. Does anybody want anything? And it was so awkward because it's like, there's 42 boxes here. Am I supposed to take one? They're going to throw it away. They're going to go burn it. Can I take 3?
Yeah.
Can I take all of it? I want it all. I know it's worth something.
So one day Brandon Bozzi goes to the free table and he sees like a full sleeve of like arena counterspells, which I think are worth like $40 each. It's like so you're like, this is like 40 grand now, right? And you're like, what do you do? It's free. It's on the free table. It would be wrong not to take it, right? Yeah. And that kind of thing was just bonkers. Like that's not something that like a normal workplace enables, right?
Right. There's $40,000 on the table, but most of us don't know it. Few do. 6 people in the building understand the value. Yeah. So my horror story of losing value. Do you remember Seal Eel? He owned Lotus Noir. He was the friend.
Yeah. I remember that.
Lotus Noir. Yeah. So he plays me in. Maybe we're not playing on the up and up. Is in hindsight, destroys me. 27 beta duels and a very nice beta Black Lotus. So I look up the price now, right? And it's like a house, right? So yeah, that sucks. Yeah, I have some. Yeah, I've lost a lot of value. I don't have my collection anymore, man. It's very, very sad. I wish I had all the cards I had one day. Yeah.
I actually find like all the Facebook groups just post the cards and make me feel like that's my collection and that's sufficient for me, you know? Like I wasn't going to play with like these like really rare cards again. But I'm very happy to see them. They're like family members, right? You're like, oh, I would love to have a scrubland right now.
Yeah.
But it's like it checks the box. It's like, but I do
nostalgia.
It would be cool to have them. I actually I sold a bunch of my remaining cards for an e-bike when I had kids. And I was like, all right, we're going to go around and we're going to turn these cards into like a fun activity for them. And that's, you know, your collection turns into other things many times in your
I love
like,
that
playing
feeling,
career. Yeah. But turning it into like utility for family is always pretty cool.
Yeah, I should do that more. I like being able to trade in one of our old sets that we worked on and you get like $500 store credit at the store. It's felt good. Good value. Yeah. Yeah, dude, I sold all my stuff, lost all my stuff in Ante. It's yeah, it sucks. I still have some old cards, but I have a Chaos Orb, but not a lot. Pretty weak collection compared to what I had.
Yeah. The good news is you had a very good career to this point, and you made Penny Arcade's owner. Is that who the guy is? Very happy with your
one of the two founders, Mike and Jerry. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And I thought you were going to say just Penny Arcade deck building, which I also did get to work on.
I didn't even know. Like, man, the gifts keep on giving. I think. Well, interesting. I'm glad you're doing so well. I'm not surprised, but I am glad. Are you going to be at MagicCon? I'm going to go to MagicCon with my dad and my daughter. Because
Brian, I miss you. We hung out a ton. Oh, I love it. Yeah, the big hug. Yeah, we should definitely hang out. Yeah, Rosewater texted me that I should go to MagicCon. People would feel good.
This is the one.
Which one are you going to?
Vegas.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I went 2 years ago. Took my oldest. He got handed a like they were just handing out some of the, what do they call it? The limited series cards. It's like worth $1,500. That's pretty fun. Just they gave it to him for free. So I went to one. And by the way, that's something that also makes me feel good, right? We just love Magic, right? Magic's important, right? We worked on it in a different era, but just to see that like 5,000 people want to fly or whatever, maybe it's way bigger than that now, want to fly out to Vegas to do this, right? Magic survived. It's way bigger than it's ever been, maybe, right? It's just huge. People love it.
It's bigger for sure.
Yeah. And I don't know, it makes me feel good to see all these people that love Magic. I like it.
Yeah. I think it's a good example for anything where you want to design something that has long-standing value for the people who use it. That's let that be a message for anyone who hears this.
The great moral of the story. It's kind of the point of the whole talk we just had.
I think so.
Yeah.
It is a time capsule. It is a time capsule. If ever like anyone wants to create LLNs, taking all the signals from all of the R&D members that are on this, they'll have a very fun group of game making people that will have conflict from time to time. Hopefully they never argue. Like they're just sweet, kind to each other. They listen really well. They have great EQ, no ego at current Wizards.
Yes, which I'm sure they have some, but I'm guessing they're 90 times better than our day, or especially before our day. Before our day, there was like chair throwing and kicking. So,
yeah, I mean, there were some immature behaviors. I think that's true. I mean, some people put inappropriate objects on people's monitors and whatnot. That's not okay.
Wait, you did that. You did that.
I didn't say that. I didn't name names. But we can all laugh about it now. I was like 23.
Yes.
There's no excuse. There's no
crazy?
excuse.
It's not long ago. Well, Brian, you and I, we overlap in a lot of ways. I think we both really enjoy new frontiers, figuring out systems, trying to absorb it from a distance. I think you more than me on that, but I really like that, right? What's the big picture? It's fun, man. New frontiers are fun. Magic's a different animal now, I assume, for R&D, but yeah, that's what I want to keep doing is like, this thing's really confusing. How can we how can we make progress on it is just so fun, dude. I love it.
I think that's what we're meant to do.
Yeah, it's good. We have a lot of overlap in that.
I think that's true. We have definitely been on the field a lot in the last 20 years.
This is great, dude. Yeah, I can't wait to hang out with you in person. That'll be really fun.
All right. Well, it's great seeing you.
Yeah, you too, dude.
Yeah, if I am ever in your neck of the woods, I'll let you know. And I'll be in Vegas. You know where I'll be.
Yeah, when is the Vegas one? I don't even know. Is it soon?
I think it's in May 1st to 3rd. So there's time.
Okay.
Just plant the seed. If it grows into a seedling, cool. If it's not in the cards, you have like a whole world of things going on.
If I do go, I would love to try to organize the old school 2004 R&D.
Barkley's going to be there. Bozzy's going to be there. Turian, I think Worth. Like Barkley was like, let's do a panel. And I was like, that would be fun and cool. And it could be done. But like, I didn't pursue it.
I love that idea. I think it would blow people's minds. Just like, there's so many stories that are hard to believe and people just don't know about. Yeah, the old school R&D.
Yeah. Also, the people who don't work at Wizards can tell them.
Right.
Which is fun.
All right. I'll leave you on the last funny thing.
What is it going to be?
It's a panel. I think the last panel I did while working at Wizards R&D, it was me, Globus, Forsyth, Turian, Rosewater. So 5 of us. Mm-hmm. They had this huge poster, right, to advertise it to everybody that was at that Pro Tour or whatever it was, that con. And it said, come meet, Mark Rosewater, Aaron Forsyth, Mike Turian, Mark Globus, and the rest.
How do they really feel?
It takes this many letters to say Matthew.
Has anyone apologized? Has anyone apologized for that?
Dude, it's funnier than it hurts, but it's both.
Whoever designed that had to know you, right? Like, there's like,
what was
missing it?
It starts with a W, the head of OP at the time.
Oh, I can't tell you that.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, all right. There's my last
one. Special guest. I'm just going to change the title of this to like the rest.
Oh, it said and the rest. It's as insulting as you can get.
Well, who can laugh now? You're probably winning in this scenario.
Against those 4? No, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. But globally and, with whoever made that decision.
All right. Good stuff, Brian. Thank you for the invite. This was fun.
Yeah, for sure. Take it easy.
Right. See you, dude.